Well, now I feel really good about myself.
Well, that's always a good thing. Butter you up a little
Can
bit.
you come to the house every morning?
Give you a pep talk.
Give me a walk
now,
out.
and get you the walk
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I know that it's a little bit harder as the days creep on. Father time isn't exactly on my side either, but some days got to have a little bit of that pep talk just to get some movement.
That and a little just for him, and I'm ready to go.
Hey, you got that mountain man beard ready to go hunting right away. Hey, I love it. I love it. Trevor, we have a packed card today of 19 matchups. We have a bracket within the show, so kind of an event within the event.
Cash bracket,
exactly. So there's some skin in the game. There's some higher stakes to
there's
just
Christmas
a regular
presents
matchup.
to be bought.
Absolutely, especially for some of these guys who are on the amateur side of things. This is an opportunity for them to be able to go out there, make a little bit of bread in the process. But on the main card, we have a decorated lineup of competitors. We have guys that have had experience from promotions all the way from BYB bare knuckle to the UFC, grappling promotions worldwide and everything in between. I am so excited to bring this show today for all the folks out there. In the main event, we have Cody Brundage taking on Logan Weintraub. What a matchup that we have to look forward to in that main event.
Can't wait.
We've got Colby the Reaper Tafoya making his way to the cage right now. He is representing high altitude martial arts. This is going to be a matchup of a couple of younger guys in their competitive career, but one of the things that we talked about on the pre-show and on the breakout as well, when we have some of these competitors who they're a little bit earlier within their time frame of competing, that's where sometimes you see some of the highest pace of action because they don't necessarily, it's not to say this in a bad way, but they don't know what they don't know yet. They're coming in with a head full of steam and they're going to transition left and right. And as opposed to what we might see with some of the higher level guys later on, it's more of a chess match where sometimes these younger guys, they're still playing a bit of checkers, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be exciting.
And the thing I like from these younger guys is they're used to going all out rounds early on. And it is a submission-only event. You don't win on points. So most of the time you get these blue belts, occasionally some white belts. You're going to see them go for broke because they just don't know any better yet. And when I say don't know any better, I mean they haven't learned to knock.
Exactly. And just to give you a little bit of a rundown, folks, as far as what we're looking at with as far as rule set goes, as Jason the Villain Gillan out of Ludwig Martial Arts makes his way to the cage. This is a four-man bracket. There is going to be cash on the line here, so you're going to see one of these gentlemen go on to compete in the consolation round later on, and then there's going to be one of them competing in the championship round. As far as rule set for this bracket, they are all going to be a 1 5-minute round as far as these guys go. Now, there is the possibility of overtime in most of our matches.
Correct.
If things go to expiration from overtime, then we do look at a potential decision from our referee and Mr. Gummerson in there. Now, very rarely, though, we don't see a whole lot of decisions in CJJC cage. We see a lot of submissions a lot of times. And also within that, all submissions are legal, so it's not restricted by belt level.
Perfect.
Anybody can go leg locks, whatever you want. And the thing that I love about the CJJC cage, which I think is the perfect blend of guys who are also wanting to go in to potentially fight.
Right.
Slams are legal as well. And you also have to learn how to be able to work off the wall, which is different from a traditional grappling competition scene.
That's the reason I come back event after event. Is the fact that they're competing in a cage where you can stuff someone in that dead spot, really use it against them, or use it as an additional arm to help get you back up. Here we go.
And a slap and bump right away to start.
Tafoya in the black on black with shorts. and Jason the Villain Gillan in the neon green and black. Little collar tie down to a single. Nice snatch. There we go.
Now, Tafoya
he's got a guillotine.
He's got the guillotine, but he doesn't have the angle for it just yet. Let's go of it right there. I mean, off of the fence right there. Now the Villain pulls his head out, starting to work up a little bit more, trying to transition into a pass. But
Tafoya looking for that leg at every angle. Oh,
goes inverted, gets a little crafty here. Now, both very decorated academies that each of these two are respectively coming from in high altitude as well as Ludwig martial arts. Now, you have Tafoya starting to work on the leg, but great defense and awareness right there from Gillan.
Tafoya's transitions are actually really crisp. He moved from going after a leg to, he had a leg up over for a triangle opportunity if it developed. It didn't develop. He immediately dropped it down and got himself back into a guard now.
That was a great pass from Gillan.
Yes, and that's a
single leg off of the transition.
Tafoya is like plastic, man.
Yeah, those joints are rubber.
Just his ability to invert and spin has really saved him from some dangerous spots already.
He's got Professor Avery over there in his corner too, so when that's who's preparing you for competition, you're in very good hands.
Absolutely. He's on the chin right now. He's got both hooks in. Let's see how we work.
That rear naked choke. Definitely a crank still at this point, but a very dominant position right now. Gillan tries to roll through.
What I'd like to see from Tafoya in those spots is to get, there we go, get stretched out a little bit. Yes. He was saying really compact.
And now he's got the body triangle in place across the soft spot of the abdomen.
Mm. That just doesn't feel good no matter what.
No, definitely not.
Gillian's smart, turning over to the leg triangle side to try to alleviate some of that pressure.
But a good readjustment from Kobe, putting him right back on his back. Now, would like to see him start to get back to that choke arm downside, but nonetheless, he's controlling the position.
I like when he brings it back over, except he's not flexing his hips forward to really stretch it out, which gives Gillan a lot of opportunity to swivel his hips and move.
Correct. You're talking
about
right here, I want to see action.
Right now we want to see that body triangle, and now we want to see him start to extend, stretch it out, hips into it. There we go. He's just going for the ride now.
But this is extremely exhausting for Gillan the entire time, having to carry the weight.
Yeah, he's carrying him the entire way, which is tough.
And just ice cream scooping, trying to find the neck the entire time from Colby. Now the hooks are out. Let's see. Oh, great bump and explosion for Jason to be able to get out of the bad spot and starts to work on his own guillotine attack here. And that looks deep.
He's in. He's in.
He's got a guillotine from the mount here.
Tafoya stays nice and calm. I mean, he's in a very dangerous spot. I can't see. Oh, he lost it. There we go.
But he's in danger for the armbar.
There's the armbar. Oh. I would like to see, switch those hips. Up, up, up. And chase the arm to get yourself safe. There we go. Now I'd give him a little slam just to remind him where we're at.
And he's out. And that's another thing, too, to keep in mind, folks. As these rounds wear on, the slippery factor is also going to start to come into play.
A sweaty rash guard is like trying to catch a 2-year-old in a swimming pool.
I'll take your word on that one, Trevor.
Looks like little blood under the left eye of the villain. Must have just got a little bonk on the way through.
Little bonk, maybe a little scratch. Sometimes it happens. Yeah. They got to have their competitor bands on. Those edges aren't always the most friendly for competition's sake.
Tafoya back to. He was in straight mount. Now we're 3/4. It looks like. Is that leg through? Still in good shape.
Professor Avery asking for the gift wrap.
Arm through. A lot of hand fighting. Gillian's really smooth with defending chokes. And as a blue belt, that's probably one of the first things you develop is your ability to protect your neck in bad spots. Because if you're grappling with higher level guys.
And that is round 1 of regulation there. We move on to a 1-minute overtime. Now, there is the chance for rebuttal for each side, folks. So there's going to be one person who starts from taking the back.
Looks like Tafoya will start on the back. Now, what's going to happen here is if neither one of them submits, there's no bearing on the match. It will go to Gummerson to make the decision. But if one of them submits the other in the first round, when they switch, the other will have to submit him in less time.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
It makes sense to me, but hopefully it does for you folks following along from home.
Tafoya right back to that body triangle, working on that neck again. And he's on the chin.
And all that deep pull back, and now he's starting to extend with the hips.
Yeah.
Now this is
now
nasty.
we're there. Now he's in there. Oh, I don't think he's all the way under, but he's definitely causing some problems.
That roll on the ankles, though, is always such a nasty pullback. And he
There we
gets the
go,
tap. Now it will be on Jason to see if he can pull this off in a quicker amount of time in this rebuttal round.
Kobe worked for that rear naked choke the entire main round. So it was nice to see him actually be able to come through and finish that. And we got Tafoya's got his shoulders down on the mat, which is nice. He's got
a good straight going so far.
All right, much rather be in mount than have someone on my back. So he's in a good spot there. Transition there. Oh,
good for the armbar.
Right back to the armbar problem. I don't know what the clock was at, but I'd sure like to see. Yep, switch those hips.
He's out and free. And I mean, granted, he puts himself back in a advantaged position, but if you're Tafoya, you almost want to just, if you get away, stay away.
I'm going to stay up here.
And on to the official decision here.
All right, and a great win for Kobe Tafoya in the first bracket match. We're going to have that followed up by bracket match number 2, Jake Richardson versus Josh Oakes, both veterans of the CJJC cage. And we'll go back to Woody in the cage now. All right, Jake Richardson making his way to the cage out of Onyx Sports, a blue belt. 1-0 in the CJJC cage.
Yeah, this is a little bit of an interesting matchup here, right? Because you have Onyx ONX against Onyx ONYX.
Right. So both great gyms.
Absolutely, both tremendous camps. One of them, you have Isaiah Wright, who is one of the most active competitors out here, leading Onyx ONYX Academy.
Yep.
He's a guy who he's fought Muay Thai multiple times last year, MMA, competed as a black belt across the board. A guy who always has people ready for
True
competition.
leader in his gym.
100%.
Speaking of that, Mr. Josh Oaks on his way out. I'm sure we'll see Isaiah with him. Mr. Oaks likes that angry get up music.
I love it.
If you walk out, is it metal?
It would be Unsainted by Slipknot.
That's the one. You already picked it out.
Oh, that would be it. That's the last song that I listen to every week before sparring. That's it.
The following tournament match is scheduled for Richardson. Jiu-Jitsu. Please welcome.
All right.
Jake Richardson being cornered by Declan O'Brien, who will also be competing on the card later today.
Declan does not miss squats day.
No, that is according to exactly the quote unquote from Ben Bennett. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah. All right.
Drop down to the little butt scoot right away for Oaks.
The ultimate jiu-jitsu meme.
Yes, sir. Working from a front headlock series right away for Richardson.
Oh,
Richardson going to the guillotine right away.
he's trying to gather that leg. He's having a little there.
And a lot of the guys
How's
who
the
train
nape
out
of
of
that neck?
Onyx, ONX, they have a strong wrestling pedigree over there.
Absolutely. They've got a really great team of wrestling coaches over there. I see Banks over there all the time, so you know there's some saucy wrestling going on.
You know, from Banks to just some of the fighters that they train with regularly on a routine basis. You know, you have guys like Archie Colgan in the room. You have Bruno, who's competed for us in wrestling matches. Alex Hernandez, Luis Gurley, a ton of high-level wrestlers who have collegiate experience and high-level fight experience in the process.
Absolutely.
A little bit of a transition here. Now, one thing that is worth noting, we did see some pretty strong squeezes come from Richardson, so...
Those arms could be tired.
Exactly.
Or pumped, not tired.
Pumped is more of it. You know, you start to feel the blood in them, and early on in the competition scene, as far as this goes, I mean, obviously some of these guys, they have a lot of other combat sports experience, but, you know, being under the bright lights like this in a specialized type of match, sometimes the adrenaline dump hits different.
There's nothing worse because you can't see it from the outside. Only if you're inside the cage and all of a sudden it feels like you just have a lead jacket over your whole body.
Exactly.
With the way that Oaks moves, it's like Jake Richardson has to almost fight off strikes.
And he walked himself right into a heel hook. Oaks picks up the heel hook victory here in round one, and ooh, that looks nasty. And on to our official decision.
All right, Oaks is up and walking that off, so it looks like no injury there. Tapped in time, but man, that was nasty. All right, our winner, Josh Oaks, is going to go back and prepare himself for the finals matchup against as Jordan stated, Mr. Cody the Reaper Tafoya. Should be a very interesting matchup. If you are Mr. Oaks, you're going to want to get in the back, stretch out a little bit, let those nerves settle, get himself in a good spot. Our next match will be a 125-pound no-gi matchup. And here's Woody. All right, Mr. Ray Mendoza out of DCO MMA making his way to the cage.
It should be a 3 clouds in a dust, or 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of matchup here. 2 young grapplers in the mix who have a lot of energy, who are going to go out there and give it all that they can. But real quick, just to recap what we had for what we saw from those last 2 matches, we have the championship round set for our 4-man bracket. That's going to be Kobe the Reaper Tafoya taking on Josh Oaks. And then naturally we have the consolation round, which will be Jason Gillan against Jake Richardson.
Ray Mendoza, a jiu-jitsu white belt with a wrestling background. And you never want to fool yourself with those white belts that come from wrestling.
No, certainly not. But you have another kid who has some wrestling in his back pocket as well with Martin, the Honey Badger Arenas. He comes to us out of Factory X. He's he's a student who I've had the opportunity to train with a little bit. And again, like I say, he's a guy who was earlier on in his journey, but he is a game competitor. And this is a kid who is going to go out there, and you're going to see him leave everything in there today.
Absolutely. And from the notes, it looks like he's wanting to move towards his first amateur MMA fight, and I love the way he's doing it, because if you can get in a cage and work under some lights, there's no better training, there's no better simulation for actually getting in the cage to fight.
One of his best buddies is Jorge Benzer, who's also on the card today. They're both in the process of trying to make the fight team over at Factory X. You know, 2 kids, again, they're gym rats. They're there every single day. They're putting in the sessions, putting in the work, just trying to be able to earn that next opportunity.
Arenas has got that 1,000-mile stare over there. He's here for business.
He's a gamer. Ever since he's been up in Denver, Arenas has competed in multiple local grappling competitions, and he's won gold in every single one. So I'm interested to see how that goes up against a guy who also has some competition experience.
Absolutely.
In Mendoza.
Oh, geez. You were not lying about it being fireworks right off the bat. They were almost in a collar tie before Mr. Gummerson said go.
Absolutely.
All right. Arenas in the black and pink, and Mr. Ray Mendoza in the gray and black. Let's see if the excitement settles in. We start to work some. Oh, there's a little arm drag attempt. They're just smiling and shaking everything off right now.
Now, with the wrestling in his back pocket the way that Mendoza has it, I would like to see Martin have a little bit of a lower stance in the process, just so he doesn't get caught square with his hips.
Yeah, with the wrestling background, they both know you don't want to get caught with a snap down. You don't want your head way out over your feet. Get back into your hips, lower your stance just a little bit. You got to add that athletic base to it, because any off balance will end up in either an arm drag, a trip, or a step behind.
And each of these guys have somebody who is going to be also competing on the card in their corner today. You have Jason Mullen in the corner of Martin Arenas. You have Anthony Bendy in the corner of Ray Mendoza.
Mendoza has the prototypical wrestler's position going on. But Arenas immediately tries to make his way to his feet.
Matt return, gets a hook back in. A little bit of a scramble ensues. Martin avoids having his back taken on the takedown.
Mendoza just let him back up, says, let's try this again. Let's get a reset.
I think Mendoza's comfortable with the wrestling department here and saying 100%. That, you know what, I have a little bit of an advantage when we're tying up. Just by the looks, I mean, this is a 125-pound matchup. Martin walks around at roughly that. But he snatches the
Arenas grabs
guillotine
the
right away.
guillotine, but Mendoza says, no, no, no.
Pops
Throws
himself
it
out.
like a hoodie. Oh, watch it. Watch it. Temper's starting to flare just a little bit. You're going to want to see Arenas start to really get a solid base. This push back and forth has not done well for him. Mendoza works the snap downs and the arm drags really well. So Arenas is going to want to get a little more solid base, maybe change levels. The way that Mendoza's pushing, if Arenas just changes levels and blasts a double,
He's going to have his fit in right
there
off.
we go, right back to the guillotine.
Said, don't be silly, jump the gilly a second time.
Yeah.
Oh, these guys are not
Yeah.
backing down. They're headbutting each other. They're getting after
Oh, yeah,
it.
these guys are 100% in.
Rounding out to the final bits of this first round of regulation here, or one round of regulation, I should say.
Little stiff arm to the forehead from Mendoza, for lack of a better phrase. You want to see Mendoza cross over to the opposite leg with that hook, and he could have tossed it through a little easier. Arenas goes for a duck under.
And that's exactly what Jason Mullen was just saying there too, is we need to have a shot off of that, and we need to stop standing so straight up.
Yep. Yeah, that was my concern early, is you just can't leave that much room for a wrestler to get in on you.
That also to be said, though, you know, a trip attempt there from Arenas. I'm surprised that we haven't seen more level changes from Mendoza.
Right. I mean, if I'm Mendoza, I'm going to go to that collar tie, then I'm going to separate, and as I move back, I'm going to change levels and shoot, because he set it up with that collar tie so many times already. You could almost fake Arenas into reaching for that collar tie, in my opinion, but maybe they see it different.
You know, sometimes, again, you just talked about in our last matchups, sometimes they don't know what they don't know still
Right.
on the early stage. And they're just, I mean, they're willing each other through with pure heart.
I would say the one thing that both of these
Oh, there's
guys,
a couple of strong
yeah,
headbutts right there. They're
they headbutted each other back and forth. The one thing I'll say about both of these competitors, and their coaches will probably address this in the back, is that they need to find a way to regulate their emotions in the cage. When your emotions get high, you're burning more energy, your adrenaline's up, and you end up with a bigger dump. Besides that, when you let someone control your emotions and make you angry in the cage, you're never going to have the same type of skill that you normally do.
exactly. You're just not making decisions from a clear-headed standpoint. You're moving solely off of some of that anger and aggression, which at times runs you into issues.
Absolutely. They're both tough kids. They have nothing to prove. So just relaxing.
But sometimes those guys in that early stage, they still feel like, though, they have to go prove something, right? Or especially the first time when they're competing on this type of stage. The focus was on them, the lights, everything. We have Arenas taking the back of Mendoza right away to start this round.
And we're speaking from outside the cage and looking in. I've been very guilty of having emotional outbursts during matches in my life.
Absolutely.
You know, as a white and blue belt, man, I thought everything was personal. It takes a while to get that out of you, especially when you want to be a competitor and you're a young competitor.
Arenas looked for the armbar, but Mendoza was able to step around and defend successfully. Works back into Arenas' guard.
You know, I like when the younger jiu-jitsu players don't know that they're not supposed to do something, and it works as an escape or, you know, as a conversion of some kind. Running around the head like that usually will bump your head into something pretty ugly, but
Now it looks like Mendoza's starting to work himself on a key lock,
got a
going
key
toward
lock.
an Americana.
yeah.
Doesn't really have the angle.
He's got a lot going on there.
And overtime round expires. They're going to switch it up.
Man, these two kids, they have got the spark. I'll tell you that all day. Oh, he's under the chin.
Yeah, a little bit of a lap right away from Ortiz to start the round. He's got to start fighting that top hand.
That's a tap.
Mendoza gets the victory here by rear naked choke in overtime.
I don't want to discredit the skill of Arenas in any way. I think he just got beat by ego. He was feeling a little bit saucy and did not immediately defend from the worst position you can be in.
Yeah, I think he wasn't prepared for the start of that round to be right on the back immediately.
Because he was looking around and still smiling at the crowd.
Well, and there was someone from the crowd chirping, so I think he kind of played into that a little bit too as well. So that's something that, as a competitor, you have to be able to block out.
Absolutely. I think you definitely want to take a moment before you bring both of them out of the cage at the same time.
Yeah, it might be a wise choice. You know, normally when we have interviews going for the full card,
Right.
or all throughout, it gives a
that
little bit of a
opponent time
buffer.
to clear out, right?
But one thing that I will say is they did have a good show of sportsmanship between them. So,
At the end,
At the
yes.
very end. So hopefully that kind of settled the dust a little bit, proverbially speaking, in that sense. Whereas sometimes, yeah, you got two guys who have a head full of steam and they still got that adrenaline pumping, especially as chippy as matchup was.
100%. You
Doesn't
don't want to put them out
always.
on the floor by
Right.
themselves. At least in the cage, it's just them and a referee can usually get in the middle.
Right.
But when you have coaches and teammates obviously in the crowd,
Right.
you don't want to tussle on the way back to the locker room.
Exactly. Making his way to the cage right now. Starting off our prelims, just ended the early prelim portion of our card. For match number 4, we have a 145-pound no-gi bout that is going between Ben Bloody Gerson of Black Sheep Universe MMA. He is taking on Jorge Smiley Express Benzer out of Factory X. Now, Ben Gerson is a guy who he's competed across a multitude of martial arts as well over the last year. MMA, Muay Thai, submission grappling. I believe he has a Muay Thai fight scheduled next week as well.
And he's a CJJC man.
Exactly.
All right. Smiley Express, Benzer making his way. Another Factory X kid. I'm sure you've seen him in the gym. You can give us a little bit of a breakdown.
Yeah, you know, Georgie, I love George. He's a great kid. He's one of those guys who just has that X factor quality or energy about him to where you just don't come away from having an interaction or a conversation with the kid and not feel better about yourself. He's that kid who comes into the gym, works his tail off every single day. A lot of times he's doing 2-a-days or multiple sessions. He is one of those kids who takes it upon himself to go around, shake everybody's hand, say hi, just acknowledges everybody's presence. This is his second time here in the cage for us here at CJJC. The first time through, one thing that should be noted is he actually had his tryouts for the fight team right before that, so he was
already gassed out.
he was already a little bit gassed, but he still came in and had a tremendous matchup. Didn't go his way, but at the same time, he said, hey, I don't care if I'm dead tired and exhausted. I'm not going to let my opponent down. I'm not going to let the promotion down and give me this opportunity. You want to talk about a kid who is humble to the process and who has just been so willing and eager to learn absolutely everything. A kid who's taken some whoopings from some of the vets who says, no, I need that because that's what, if I want to get to where my goals are, I need to take those lessons and I want to be able to be receptive to it.
Absolutely. Oop, little slick spot in the cage. Much more calm beginning to this match.
Yes, sir. Well, a couple of guys with a little bit more experience in the process. Benzer being cornered by Jason Mullen. Gerson being cornered by Alejandro Rodriguez, who will be in our
Body
co-main
lock.
event.
Body lock to slam. That's nice. Gerson recovers half guard. Still working through.
It's a strong position for George here. George is really compact and he's super strong in any of those front
Looks
headlock
like he
positions
knows how
and
to
choke squeezes.
stay heavy. He's got a possible arm triangle there. Nope, he's going to back out and move across.
That's one
Smart.
thing that Ben Gerson had working for him on that is he has those long legs that was able to prevent
put
the
a
pass
blade
getting
in.
to the same side.
Yeah, there's definitely a height difference here today. With Gerson being probably 3 or 4 inches taller easily, which, I mean, as a wrestler, I always like to have a slightly taller opponent because you can get to those hips and legs a little bit easier. But Gerson is he's very flexible, and he covers ground very easily, even with as long as he is.
There's pros and cons to the different attacks and modalities that you can choose with your anatomy, right?
Absolutely.
Because somebody like a Gerson, well, he's going to have a little bit more of an advantage when we're talking arm in chokes, triangles with the legs, so on and so forth. Whereas you have more of a pit bull build from Jorge, where if he gets something that's a tight front headlock, like those no-armed guillotines.
So compressed.
Exactly. Or if he were to have been able to transition over to that same side for that arm triangle, well, it's tight in a hurry.
Right. Right. Just connecting it is tight.
Exactly.
They're both being very, very careful with keeping the weight back, moving smooth.
And I think that's, in some ways, that's the benefit of these guys train with some higher level guys, being that Alejandro is a longtime veteran of the combat sports game for Ben Gerson and a high level decorated grappler. And on the flip side, you have Jorge training with a lot of guys at Factory X, Jason Mullen being one that's in his corner. When you have to go up against some of those vets, you understand or you figure out where there's some more risks early on in the game, right? You don't just spam stuff all the time because you understand where you're vulnerable.
And they learn early on, they learn early on by working out with those high-level guys how to set things up for later. Whereas, let's say in the white belt match we watched just a little bit ago, it's, I want to do this, I'm only going to do this.
Right.
Whereas here you can peekaboo something for a while and set it up and then come back around. And you only learn that when you go with higher level guys, experienced guys, and you get trapped in those kind of situations.
Body lock grip here for Jorge. Big slam and dump by Jorge.
Gerson is so good at recovering guard. Those long legs, man, he gathers things so well.
George looking for the pass here.
And with those arms up in the air, you'd really like to see him just post one of those arms, go to an arm triangle. Even if you can't get outside of the guard, you can put a lot of pressure on.
Absolutely.
That was probably my highest percentage finish in every competitive match was an arm triangle, only because you end up here as a wrestling type body and their arms are so much more exposed for you.
Yep. And
he's really good at
Gerson
pressure.
trying to look for that lockdown, but Jorge able to thwart the attack. Gerson now looking to get to a leg. George is able to scramble himself out of it.
He pushed a little deep half roll, which was nice. Now we're seeing some stuff from Mr. Gerson. Level changes. That's going to change the perception of Benzer a little bit because he hadn't seen that yet.
Some hand fighting and collar tie exchanges going on between the two right in the center of the cage.
Right here.
Gerson looking for the single leg off of the fence. Potentially looking at a little bit of a pump and dump action.
Yeah, there we go. Right in our kitchen too, which is nice. Oh, man, that was a great back and forth match.
Solid first round of action. We will see how it plays out for overtime. Referee Mr. Gummerson going to give him the coin flip.
All right. Gerson will be on the back first. And again, the only thing that matters in this overtime is a submission. There's no points. This overtime does not go into consideration of the judge if it goes to a decision. So you might as well go for broke 100% of the time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely correct. Gerson has the body triangle in place here. Rudder in the leg of Benzer up into the air.
Working towards that neck. Benzer staying real nice and compact. Well, if he gets those hips pushed. Man, Ben is, you can almost listen to his coach. I'm sure you can hear it through our mics. He's playing a video game.
Yep, exactly.
He's playing a video game. Ben is such a calm competitor right now that everything that his coach is saying, he's just working through. And you don't always see that.
Especially this early on.
Very much so.
Round 1 of OT expired. Now, George is going to get the opportunity to work from the back himself.
Any submission wins at this point.
Yes, sir.
He's got the full round. Oh, he's got the ankles.
George working on the neck.
Kicked one of those hooks out. Now he's going to shake him off the top.
Shake, but he's looking for the armbar transition in the process. Gerson is able to get himself free.
Because there wasn't a finish in the first half of overtime, they want to both stay engaged and try to get that finish now.
Exactly.
You know, you don't ever want to leave it up to the judges. We got
Gerson looking at potentially going for a knee bar. Transition into a toe hold. Both guys working on a foot, but Gerson a little bit more advantaged in this position here.
Yeah, Benzer is not in a great spot. Get a little restart. Everything has to go for oh man. Our first judge's decision of the evening or afternoon.
Very tightly contested match there between the two of them. You know, it's a tough one to call there, but I think the two big slams as opposed to the one takedown from Ben toward the end of the first round.
The aggression in the main round was definitely, in my opinion, on Benzer's side.
But again, it's so tightly contested. We'll have to see how Mr. Tumblesson decides.
For the first time this afternoon, your winner, out of the red corner.
Mr. Gummerson saw it slightly different than we did, but that's why he was the referee.
Exactly.
And we just sit over here and second guess everything that they do. All right, looks like our next matchup will be a 175-pound no-gi matchup. Langdon King from Logos. Logos has really come on the scene strong over the last couple of years. He will take on CJ Chavez out of Genesis Training Center.
Remind all of you that YouTube and Instagram, you can follow us at E.
And now, making his way to the cage, we have the Porha Constrictor. We have Langdon King out of Logos Jiu-Jitsu Academy. That Michael Liera crew out of Logos is a stable of competitors that have made their presence known worldwide.
It's over the last couple of years, just watching the quality that's come out of that gym. and more I'm seeing high-level fighters even cross over and use that as a secondary gym to train out of, which is pretty great for the scene.
And now making his way to the cage, coming by way of Genesis Training Academy, we have CJ Espatano Chavez. Now, one thing that I do want to point out here for you folks, though, is, you know, everybody was game to continue to take the matchups, but there has been one half of each of these three matchups right here that we've seen in the last three where somebody missed weight. So that's something that I feel like as these guys continue as a competitor, they have to get this locked in. Ray Mendoza missed weight, Ben Gerson missed weight, and Chavez missed weight by 6 pounds.
That's not missing weight.
That's almost an entire class ahead.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, so, you know, would like to see a little bit more respect taken to the process of making weight there. Got to give credit, though, to Langdon King for being a gamer and saying, hey, you know what? I'm still willing to go in there and get after it.
At a 6-pound miss, Chavez is lucky to be having a match.
Correct. I mean, if we're talking if this is an actual sanctioned MMA fight, it's scrapped. In the state of Colorado, if it's beyond the 3-pound limit.
Oh, 3? It's 3 in Colorado now? The Genesis Training Academy has been a staple in the Colorado Jiu-Jitsu, striking, and MMA world for well over a decade.
Yep, and from Genesis, Chavez has the Mile High Menace Nick Montez in his corner, as well as Therius Robeson. Therius, a veteran of the CJJC cage, also was a D1 wrestler at UNC and is fighting at the end of this month for Colorado Combat Club in his first amateur title fight.
Wow.
Langdon works up against the fence right away, push Chavez's back there.
Langdon really wanted to work that cage. He's got
He's
both
got double
underhooks.
unders. Yep.
Whoa, cage grab. What's that? Chavez, a little back trip. So what do you think is to be done on these weight misses? I mean, is it something where, I mean, there has some kind of repercussion for the competitor? Does it equal out to if you miss
Langdon
weight?
working on an armbar right away. Don't mean to cut you off
Yeah,
here,
go, keep
but
going.
he goes and he switches, swivels, but Chavez is able to get himself back into a defensive posture here.
Do you end up in a situation where if you miss by, let's say, over that 3 pounds and your opponent's willing to take it, that you forfeit your ability to compete in overtime?
That's an interesting wrinkle that I haven't thought about. Langdon potentially working on a triangle from this spot here. You saw him playing with the wrist for a second.
Yep, trying to get that leg
Through the
up and
arm
through.
of Chavez there.
He needs a little push-pull.
Now,
Chavez is keeping that leg pinned with his elbow right now. He does not want to let that bottom leg come through. Is Langdon trying to rubber guard?
He's got that, or he's got the arm bar.
I couldn't tell which way he was
slippery.
trying to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the shirtless Chavez, I think it's a great advantage if you're going to go into a no-gi match. You know you're going to get sweaty, so might as well get that shirt off and be as slick as you can.
Exactly.
You know, you're not trying to fight your own body. Of course, I would need to keep a shirt on just to constrict the 10 pounds of potatoes in the 5-pound sack.
Well, we've all had our time, right?
I keep having it in the kitchen. Chavez working inside the guard of Mr. King.
He's got him right in the dead zone, keeping his head right there. Good head posture from Chavez in the position.
Neither one, well, there we go. King's starting to get active now. He took a little break. Maybe he was just catching his breath. I saw him pull down the posture and just kind of sit there for a minute, which I get. Sometimes you need a little breather, but you only have 5 minutes.
Right, and this is a this is a
Submission
strength and
only.
power position too from Chavez. How much does not pulling off that additional 6 pounds
Right.
benefit him in these spots where
Sure.
it is a little bit more just squeeze and grit?
Yeah, I mean, Chavez is in on the body. He's got a body lock going on. He's trying to keep all of his pressure in and down on the solar plexus area of King. And when you say 6 pounds, it doesn't sound like a lot unless you put it on a body that's also pressing down on you.
Yeah, and if you've ever competed, then you know exactly what that 6 means.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you can tell just in the gym round to round, two guys could be similar, but just that 5 pound difference in your next opponent, you're like, wow, this guy feels really heavy.
Yes, sir. Langdon looking to swivel with the hips again, but a good stuff
Chavez
on
is
the right
keeping him
side.
stuffed in that dead spot of the cage, making it really hard for a long competitor like King to swivel his hips or move or invert and spin underneath him. I mean, his neck is basically at a 90-degree to his body right now.
Langdon's corner asking for him to get a butterfly in there to try to get some space.
Yeah, or even pull you. I'd like to see him even pull his feet back and get the feet on the hips and just push Chavez away a little bit. Now Chavez is
Ooh,
sagging
got
them
that
hips.
Zamora trap. He was
Oh.
almost looking for a jackpot.
If he needs to get himself through just a little bit to be able to get there. Chavez could be in some trouble.
The more that he can get the wristwatch towards the spine, and now, hey, it gets him on top. It gets a beautiful sweep off of it. Doesn't secure the
Straight to
submission
mount.
from it, but beautiful work.
Sweep to mount is always a nice secondary prize to not being able to finish.
Absolutely. And now he has Chavez's head working in the dead zone.
So uncomfortable.
Langdon asking for how much time he has to work here.
I want to see Chavez get his. Never mind. I was going to say he's laying flat on the mat. I would really like to see him engage his core and start moving around to create some openings for himself.
Now we move on to our first period of overtime.
All right, King will start on the back of Chavez. King, very smart, immediately throws that rear naked choke.
And that's deep. That is deep right away. He's got hand behind the head. Chavez is trying to fight that top hand, but he is gritting through it.
Oh, man. That is a tough spot to be in. But if Chavez powers out of this, King will have spent a lot of arm energy.
Correct.
He's working it more of like there we go. Now he's getting to the bicep. If he gets that over, that second hand behind the head will change this whole.
And the mouthpiece just spits out right there.
He's out. He's out. Roll him over. Let him out.
And he had to battle through some adversity to get to that point, in securing this. Now, the question is, we haven't had this happen yet in an overtime period with a tech sub going into place. Do we have rebuttal round?
With the unconscious
I would probably say
player,
we're running
you
it
would
done.
say that's
Looks like Paul's going to run it.
oh my. I don't think Chavez even knows he's in the room still.
Langdon has some wherewithal here. I'm getting my escape right away, and I'm just clearing space.
I'm just running.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm King, I get on my bicycle as quick as I can. But at the same time, we have Chavez, who was just out cold on the mat. And less than a minute later, we're restarting a round. At some point, does he?
He's still got cobwebs going.
Yeah,
his
you can
eyes
see his
still aren't
eyes.
clear.
Yeah, his eyes are looking two different directions.
He's on autopilot right now, but holding the position strong.
If you're King, you just keep that second arm in control. Lay there and breathe. You don't have to do anything. I mean, maybe swivel your hips and get your shoulders to the mat, but King really does not have to do anything except for not make a mistake right now.
Exactly.
Small movements, big covers. There you go.
And there we have it right there. That's something that we'll have to visit on the drawing board for the next show here, because hey, there's a first for everything.
Yep. The only thing I want is
Peter, was it just like, okay, well, this is where we're at? Like, all right, I'm going.
yeah. I mean, obviously, if you train jiu-jitsu and it happens, you don't even know you were out, but you just aren't speaking clearly.
Correct.
And then about 30 minutes later, you wake up and go, Mike.
And making his way to the cage right now, representing high altitude martial arts, we have Declan O'Brien.
Another one of those.
He's a tank.
Yeah. You know, every once in a while, you catch a glimpse of yourself and you go, man, I look pretty good. I got decent legs. And then a guy like Declan walks in and you go, I'm going to wear baggy sweats from now on.
Like, oh, one of his quads is the size of both of mine combined.
Yeah, he's oh my.
And Ben Bennett said that he's had a little bit of an issue finding some matchup through the time, just because of that he is such a menacing physical threat in that sense. But he did cut a little bit to be able to make this weight so that he could take this matchup with Quentin Button, who is now making his way to the cage representing Marathon Martial Arts.
Declan's in the wrong corner. His coaches are calling him.
And a big smile from Ben Bennett over here in his corner. He's also got Avery over, Professor Avery.
They were cracking up, trying to get his attention to get him over to his corner. All right, big Q coming out. Marathon Mixed Martial Arts. Quentin joins us out of Kansas. Not much to do in Kansas, but train.
Absolutely.
Martial arts.
Man, Declan's so big, it looks like he just had some bad clams. Just all swollen up. That is a big dude.
Yoked.
You know, in the best shape of my life, I wasn't in as good a shape as probably the worst shape of his.
That's a fair assessment. I'd probably have to second that.
Here we
Slap
go.
it a bump in the middle. Declan strong with collar ties.
Yeah, if I'm Quentin, I'm going to probably want to grapple at distance and then pick some takedowns. I don't know that I want Declan to get a hold of me in any way.
Got basically a plum that he threw him down with.
Yeah.
Big single leg dump.
Man,
Quentin wise to it.
fast with the hips. When they hit the cage, I thought they were going to come into the kitchen with us.
Yeah, I was about to be closer. I was going to have to hold on to the monitor, make sure that these TVs that Mr. Paprocki got for us did not fall flat.
Yeah, man. If I'm Quentin, tying up is just not on the menu for me today.
No, I'm Ben Bennett asking for Declan to drive him toward the fence. Basically, use some horsepower right
Yeah,
away.
he's saying just put it in 4 low and move him over there.
wrist control here for Declan.
The way that Quentin's leaning in, you could almost see a pretty easy arm drag or a duck under.
Yes, sir.
Especially from someone. I mean, they're basically both on the balls of their feet, pushing on each other. Oh man!
Wrist ride from Declan, though.
Can you imagine?
Want no part of that. But you got to give credit to Quentin too, because he's had an answer for everything so far.
He's been so fast. His reaction time is so quick that even when Declan puts him in a bad spot, he's already bouncing clean. I'm surprised we haven't seen a snap down from Declan.
Great push from the arm.
Just run to his hips.
Starts to get towards the back. Has one hook in so far. Working for a second hook. Now securing the
hooks
back
in.
position.
Man.
Hand fighting, looking for a
he
top
doesn't
arm
even
choke.
need the choke. He could just squeeze your eyebrows off.
Oh, yeah.
If he gets a hold of that neck, he might take it home.
Yeah, and he's got the type of strength that it doesn't need it. You just like you said, it can be a face crank, neck crank, whatever it may be. If you don't tap in time, that could be teeth being pushed in, jaws being exploded.
There's nothing worse than that crack feeling across your jaw.
Oh yeah.
And even if it doesn't hurt you, you're not chewing right for a couple days.
Definitely got that TMJ feeling going on. Good defense though from Quentin.
Man.
Passes over into half guard.
I don't know that I've given Quentin the respect that he deserves up to this point, but he has had an answer for everything all the way out.
And a return takedown right there from Quentin. Declan searching for the key lock here, potentially a Kimura trap in the process.
Man, the Kimura trap for him was a sweep all day, probably. Did he just decide to get up?
Just Derek Lewis'd it.
He said, I'll just get up.
A little bit of a modified octopus in a sense, but yeah, it was a lot of horsepower just getting up. Got a minute left here in regulation.
The pure amount of pressure that's being pushed back and forth right now. I mean, there's probably enough energy to run the building.
Oh, yeah. No, put them both on a bike and you'll power all of Aurora.
Yeah. I really like this Quentin Button. I like this kid a lot. Comes out of Kansas.
From a front headlock series, Declan able to pop himself back out.
He just...
Now looking for his own single leg and secures it.
He's got a guillotine, but he's kind of cross-bodied on it.
Yeah, he doesn't have the angle to be able to secure it.
It's just still a lot of squeeze. The bicep is like a thigh.
But right here, you have the potential. I mean, we ran out of time, but some of the mistake, though, when you are full cross-body like that, that opens up the opportunity for the Von Flue choke, and especially when we're working with the fence and you don't have a way to sort of scoot and escape.
When you can just shove them
There's
over
pressure from both sides. This is going to be an interesting overtime round here because both of these guys have used some energy in this first round. Then now to go into overtime, do you see someone go for the attack and try to secure that submission immediately and find the throat?
You know Declan's going to grab that neck as fast as he possibly can and squeeze.
And especially with him being the first guy to go from the back position, I would be shooting it ASAP.
And straight back. Straight back. Button smart, keeping the chin down, keeping an arm in. Oh. Man, he's so close.
Just kind of smothering and squeezing right now.
If I'm Quentin, I'm going to dig my heels in and scooch my butt back as far as I can just to get away from the angle of that squeeze. I mean, because even if he can't get the choke, just all of that pressure right now has got to be almost unbearable.
Certainly. But good work so far on the defense, though, and
Great
not
defense.
giving up any sort of choke opportunities or scoops here for Declan from Quinton's end. And when I say scoop, folks, I'm meaning like our professors call it the ice cream scoop, searching for that chin, where you basically you take the blade of your thumb and your wrist and you're running it along the jawline, going from side to side, trying to
Give a
find the
little
opening.
pry up.
Exactly.
We've all tried to scoop ice cream with a bad spoon.
Oh, yeah. And these guys have been pretty nice about it so far today, but
Yeah.
we have seen from some guys at times, they'll go into a little bit more of the pulling the nose or peeling up the chin, any
Grab
of
the
those
front
sorts
of
of
the
things.
face and-
Exactly.
And just pulling up.
Or just muffling a guy for a second to try to create a little bit of space. Now Declan escapes from the back position and ends up on top here in side
Top
control.
side control. He's going to want to move fast if he wants to secure a submission because he's probably halfway through the round.
Any sub here will win, folks.
This is wrestling. We got back points going on, but guess what? It's not.
It is. This is going to make for an interesting decision here from Paul Gummerson should this go the distance.
Well, I mean, Declan spent pretty much any control time was done by Declan.
Declan tries for the armbar there.
Oh, Jesus.
Scrambling like eggs.
There's a vein on Declan's bicep that's bigger than my bicep.
Yeah, that's a garden hose.
You think he ever does curls?
Bodies.
Look at that fucking vein, dude. Based
But
on the
right.
control, I think that's the only decision that can be made. But Quinton Button has definitely raised some eyebrows. People are going to take notice.
Certainly. Yeah, he had a great showing for himself there.
All the way out of somewhere out there, Kansas.
Not Kansas anymore, Dorothy. Toto, whatever the line is.
Tomorrow here is going to start walking around, and you guys might.
This is a matchup that I am thrilled to see. We have two 16-year-olds who have both competed here in the cage. They are ready to go out there and put on a show. Another high-altitude martial arts product here in Michael the Judge Ortiz. He's taking on Corey Hardcore Labato out of Otami Martial Arts. And the skill that these two young men have already at this stage of their training careers, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It makes us realize that our time is coming to an end as far as being able to mix it up and compete with these young studs.
I feel like I just handed these kids candy trick-or-treating.
You might not be wrong there.
I mean, they still look young enough that there was a costume in a pillowcase. Both competitors, veterans of the CJJC cage. One of them is going to get his first victory.
Yes, sir.
Like Michael Ortiz over at Ama, that has to be a slightly intimidating room to walk into as a 16-year-old baby-faced kid.
Oh, yeah. He's already cauliflowered up. Get ready, folks, because you're about to see some speed.
Yeah, these 125-pounders, it's just all gas. There's no break allowed. Little show of sportsmanship, little slap and bump. We are off to the races. Single leg.
Single leg, but you have Corey working on the guillotine right away. Now Michael working for the pass. That's what we were talking about earlier, though, of holding on to that choke right here. If he's able to clear the leg, and let's go there. Good decision by Corey.
Yeah, too many people try to hang on to that choke when the opponent gets cross-body. The defense is already there, and actually you're pulling yourself into a possible Von Flue choke, especially in the cage. If he can stuff you over in that corner, you're in big trouble.
Mikey with the blue and black rash guard with the dyed blonde hair. Corey in the black and orange.
Just shoves his way into half guard, or side control, I'm sorry.
Looking for a buggy choke.
Buggy
here.
choke looks like.
I tell you, Trevor, the craftiness and creativity from some of these young
these
guys.
kids.
Mikey looking for a little bit of maybe a slam opportunity here, taking a breath.
When that buggy choke is getting locked up, you want to definitely put them back down. There we go. Ortiz very calm, very collected in a bad situation. Just waited, found the right spot, right back to his feet. Ortiz
Working on a bit of a ninja choke here, but Mikey's in danger here with this ninja choke.
He's in there.
He's got the crook of the elbow here. That's not a good position at all.
Oh, he's got his chin down though.
Now he's starting to work it out. Yep.
I mean, it hurts and it feels like crap, but I think he just resank that.
Readjustment was filthy.
Yeah, he resank.
And now going for that. Wow. Great defense, though. I mean, a big key in the defense, though, right there for Michael Ortiz was being able to keep the hips away.
Did you see that setup?
What a transition to the back, though, now.
So slick.
And you got the submission secured there by Corey Hardcore Labato.
That was such a slick setup.
Hey, what a match by these two guys, though.
Wow.
Hey, we should have some crowd noise going for these two guys here.
There we go. Great matchup. The future of jiu-jitsu here in Colorado is in good hands.
Certainly.
These kids have just been all day long just gamers.
No doubt about that. Now, in this next matchup, Trevor, you're about to hear a tremendous crowd pop for one of these two competitors. We have Ray Maldonado coming out of high altitude martial arts, but then we also have Cameron Santos out of Catalyst Jiu-Jitsu. At our show at the Tattoo Convention, Cameron Santos had an entire section of the venue there just for him.
That's what you like to see.
I've seen a couple of fat heads.
Yeah, I think directly across from us is
Exactly.
an entire section.
He's got people with signs for him, everything.
Yeah. Look at that.
Little chance right here, though, for our
It did look like Ortiz had a little bit of a nosebleed going on at the end of that match, so it's probably a few little dribbles here and there.
just a little dribble.
Mr. Gerson looks like he's manned up a time or two in his life.
When you've been around the mats for as long as he has, I think we've all taken our turn.
I remember one of the very first gyms I belonged to, I traded being a janitor for membership.
All right, let's keep that same energy going. Please go to the first to the king. Out of the 1,005 Maldonado.
Again, Ray Maldonado out of high altitude martial arts, a young blue belt, and a vet of the CJJC cage, looking for his first win in the cage.
Exactly, and I love now that we have some of these guys who are on the card who they're both veterans of the cage, so there isn't necessarily the unknown. Well, it's the anxiety for one, but the unknown of having to work off of the wall in the cage. Because especially in our early stages, now we're at our 28th event, but in those first few, and even in some of these cases, you have some guys, especially when they're training at just pure jiu-jitsu academies, where they don't have to work off of the cage. And the cage is also different from working off of just a regular wall, too.
Right.
Because you have to worry about
There's
fence
some
bite.
flex. Yep.
There's some flex, and how to
The cheese
little bit
grating.
of exactly the cheese grater effect. Very well said right there. Trying to figure out the right
That's the only way to explain it. Dragging your body down a cheese grater.
Because if your skin isn't conditioned to feel the chain link, that hurts.
Yeah. That's why I like to keep this little layer of extra protection.
That's what we're calling it now.
I mean, it's my party.
As long as you love it. Professor Paul Hamas out of Catalyst Jiu-Jitsu is such a well-versed jiu-jitsu practitioner. And I mean, he has his guys prepared for every sort of combat sport that they compete in, I should say. But
We know how I feel about Mr. Trevor Bohomes. He is the most dangerous man under 150 pounds in jiu-jitsu in Colorado.
certainly.
And people can argue with it, they're just wrong.
Jiu-jitsu match scheduled for 1 round. First, out of the red corner, representing high altitude martial arts. Please welcome Ray Maldonado. Out of the blue corner, representing Catalyst Jiu-Jitsu. Please welcome Gerson.
Paul Hamas is such a gamer that he just looked over the floor, saw a wet spot, pointed it out to his competitor, and said, hey, watch your feet right over there. And you would
That's,
expect nothing less from him.
That's a vet.
He is like a scientist when it comes to anything in jiu-jitsu competition.
And a
Little duck under.
slick duck under there for Cameron Santos. Gets the takedown. Working back on a single leg here. Maldonado scrambles himself out.
Santos, very quick with the hips. Ray Maldonado trying to work his arm free. Maldonado said, you want to get down here on the mat and grapple? And Santos
Maldonado
said,
now gets a quick transition to the back as soon as they hit the canvas.
he's pretty high up. Santos going to want to tripod up and shake him off that top end. But with these young, oh, he's in that choke. I can't tell if he's under the chin or just on the
Looks like
face.
he's on the face.
Oh, still miserable.
But he's starting to sink down here in the process.
Oh, he regripped. He's in a good spot. He's under that chin. He's got the second hand in. This could be trouble.
Santos.
Taps.
You have a rear naked choke here in regulation 4. Ray Maldonado of high altitude martial arts.
Maldonado did not get scared of the height.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that he was a little bit high on him, which was to a certain extent, but there's also a pretty significant size difference, height difference between the two of them, so it might have been a little bit more misleading of where he was
Well,
located.
and also these young, smaller guys, 130 pounds, distance like that is not as big of a deal. You get a guy 170, 185 pounds riding high, and it's easy to slide him over the top. But these young guys, these smaller guys, man, they readjust on the fly.
Absolutely.
And this crowd got quiet for the minute, huh?
CJJC t-shirt out the back. Also, we've got bartenders and servers taking care of it. Shouldn't make care of those guys as well. Let's get the next match going here. Please welcome first to the game. Out of the red corner, Hilton, Ashby.
Caden Ashby, also a product of Catalyst Jiu-Jitsu, making his way to the cage right now. He is taking on Seth Tumblesson.
Full helmets with a lather, rinse, repeat, right back into the corner.
Correct.
Caden is, again, another CJJC vet, 1-0. It's always nice to have that.
Please welcome out of the blue corner, Tumblesson.
Seth Tumblesson, also a veteran of multiple different competition rule sets here for the CJJC cage. He's competed for us in grapple games as well as in the CJJC cage. Actually, in his last outing with us, had a tech sub finish.
Seth Tumblesson out of Factory X, also Evergreen Jiu-Jitsu blue belt.
It was early in the morning when he rode.
Calmly making his way into the cage.
He came right on the south side, slowly all around.
He's got a decent sized buck on the back of that rash guard, making me hungry.
Oh yeah, Seth. You mentioned some of those Kansas grapplers. Seth coming from originally out that direction. He is his family with Professor Scotty Miller, who I think is one of the most underrated jiu-jitsu professors out here in the Colorado scene. Very strong with his catch wrestling style, a product of the Neil Melanson system. Has been putting out a lot of great training tutorials and content too as well. I just love his style because it works so well with MMA in the process. Seth also has Lorenzo Grigio, Lolo, who is going to be fighting in Colorado Combat Club cage here at the Stampede on the 20th. So a decorated corner for him.
Very big corner.
And this is the second time that Seth has taken on a Catalyst product.
Caden Ashby is like a mini version of Polhamus when he comes out. Did you see that stance in the motion? Seth with a takedown, moving inside the guard of Ashby.
Seth
Looking
as a
for the
wrestler
pass.
is super scrambled.
Yes, he is. But you got to watch out for these Catalyst Jiu-Jitsu players. If they can find an armbar or a choke or a triangle, their legs are going to be moving 100% of the time.
Seth Tumblesson with Caden Ashby's head right there in the dead zone. Strong head pressure right here from Seth. Looking to be able to open up the guard, start to work on a potential pass opportunity.
That wrestler's background is a great spot when you have to play in someone's guard because you can put your forehead in their chest or in the side of their neck and use it as a staple to allow you to move in different directions. It's so hard to teach, but once a kid gets it, they find out they have a fifth appendage that's in the works.
Definitely. And both of these guys extremely young. You have Ashby at 22, Seth at just 19 years young. The growth, though, from a physical and also a mental maturity point from Seth over the last year that I've gotten to see firsthand it's impressive.
Yeah, he's really calm. Really calm. Man, if you added their ages together, I'm still holding.
Isn't that a
Is that
real
terrible?
son of a biscuit right
my.
there?
We've got kids in here just 10 times the skill and opportunity that I ever had, and I love to see it.
Now that you mention it, it's damn near the same thing for me.
Caden working inverted. Looking for a leg. Oh, he's got that heel. Is he going to be able to get it back up there? Nope. 50-50. They're both working pretty calm. Caden smart, keeping his feet stacked and out of danger. There we go. Recovers his guard. Man, Seth, though, has just found a way to stuff him in that dead spot wherever he wants. He's got it over. Oh, we've got a triangle. We've got a triangle.
Yeah, Seth still has one arm in. It's going to be tough to get that full Senkaku lock from Caden on the underside. But Seth is definitely, he's not in an oh crap position yet,
Right.
but he's teetering the line.
Okay, that opened up. Oh, he switched it to the other side.
The pass over to side control for Seth.
So strong.
Ashby recovers.
Caden's really fast.
Sweep there from Ashby, but Tumblesson able to scramble and get himself back up on top. And Seth has that arm lock. This is a very bad position right now as Seth starts to look
He had
to
that arm
attack.
trapped in a bad spot there for a minute.
Seth going for a modified Darce here. The
Very,
shoulder.
very smart of Ashby to grab the head and pull himself around. That's the only direction you could go and not make that choke any tighter.
Both guys going for an attack off of this series.
Ashby looking for the armbar, but man, Seth is so slick with moving in and out of dangerous spots. Right back to that Darce, huh?
Ashby trying to keep space on the hips here.
Yeah.
Seth looking to
Seth-
drop right in.
yeah,
This is a
he-
bad
that's
spot
a
right
bad
now.
spot.
That's deep,
That's
and
bad.
Seth secures the submission here. Darce choke for Seth Tumblesson. That moves him to 3-0 in the CJJC cage. And the other thing is,
When he
Seth
gathers
is
that
very
leg.
unassuming in terms of his look or the optics. Is, we always tease him in the gym. He's kind of got that Ellen DeGeneres sort of look going on with the dye job. But that kid is a savage right there. And he gives us a big thumbs up over here at the broadcast table. I tell you
Very
what, folks,
impressive.
again, he's a younger, small kid, but if you get him on the mats, that kid is a problem.
The blue corner, Seth Tumblesson.
His ability to stay calm and work in and out of slightly dangerous positions is, I mean, you just can't teach it. The kids either have it or they don't. That kid has it.
Certainly. And again, with, it's just to give a little bit of a kudos to the man right there in his corner and Scotty Miller, Scotty Jiu-Jitsu, if you follow him along online. And then he has Lolo Grigio right there, which Lorenzo's a tank. Lorenzo is basically, if you were to look at that meme where they showed around of the shaved chimp,
Right.
that's Lorenzo himself,
Yeah.
and a very great training partner that is skilled along with all the rest of those guys over there at Factory X.
Compact body, strong limbs, everything that's dangerous.
To our next match, please welcome first to the king, Junior Zamora.
And now, as far as our bracket consolation match goes, folks, if you were following along with the order, that match is scratched due to injury from the heel hook submission that was handled in that first round.
I thought it was going to be the other way. I thought the nap was going to put him out of. Oh, no. Chavez was later. Here we are in the gi.
We got
First
ourselves
gi
a-
match of the night, right?
Yep. First gi match of the day, we have Junior Zamora coming out of high altitude martial arts, a blue belt at 130 pounds, taking on Desideo Belfon.
And Junior is 1-0 in the CJJC cage.
And Professor Paul Hamas keeping his hands busy today. He's
Right
got
back.
another guy right in the mix here. 3 back-to-back-to-back.
He stacked them. Is that Godzilla?
Something along those lines. Something with that deep billowing roar here.
Belfon making his way into the cage now.
The following jiu-jitsu match is a 130-pound E matchup. First, out of the dollar mine red corner. He's representing high altitude martial arts. Please welcome Junior Zamora. His opponent, out of the activated blue corner, representing Catalyst Jiu-Jitsu. Please welcome Desideo Belfon.
All right. Mr. Gummerson's ready for the action.
Belfon has that Paul Hamas stare.
Yes, he
but a
does.
sprint right away across the cage for Zamora. Zamora goes right away into his leg entry. He is wasting no time right now. Worked on a straight ankle right away.
Let's pop that
Defense from
out.
Belfon right off the rip there. Good awareness.
So as our first gi match is underway, it changes the game ever so slightly because there's so many more grips. There's so many different opportunities to use clothing as leverage and also as a weapon.
And you have Zamora going right back to the leg attack.
Yeah, he's all over those legs.
But as you mentioned, the grip right there on the sleeve of the gi
Right.
helps prevent
That's
that lock from
it's
being able to secure.
pulling all the leverage away from putting pressure on that ankle. I started out as a gi competitor and I really loved it until I took the gi off and I figured out how much less hot and sweaty I ended up.
Certainly. Yeah, I'll say this. I've recently started doing a lot more work back in the gi over the last month and a half around in there. And there's certain stuff where, it's just it's a good refresher,
Sure. It's tough if you that's
Going
a
for the
toe
toe
hold.
hold for
That's a
Zamora.
nice toe hold. Belfon doesn't seem to be affected. Or he's really good.
And
at
there's the
hiding it.
submission
There
right
it
there.
is. It's very hard if you are looking to become an MMA fighter or you're training to fight in the cage. Just the difference between gi and no gi, it really does change the landscape of how you train.
Yeah, and I feel like more and more as I'm starting to get older, having the gi helps me use some old man strength and slow some of these young guys down.
I will not discount that because I have many times used the gi to give me a break.
Big victory right there for the high altitude product in Junior Zamora. I mean, that was a kid who had a game plan in mind, and he stuck to it the entire time. Didn't really deviate from the plan.
No, he was
Came out,
going
shot out
legs.
like a cannon.
It was legs, legs, and more legs.
Exactly. It just took him a couple of transitions and sequences for him to be able to find his opening and his opportunity. And once the kill presented itself, he took it home with him.
Yeah, I mean, these kids are starting off younger and younger and younger, just growing up with leg attacks. I talk about my old man stuff
Moving on
often.
to our next match. Please welcome first to the cage, out of the dollar mine red corner, Anthony Bendy.
And we really, for probably the first 7 or 8 years that I trained, there was 1 or 2 leg guys out there, and you just, knew when you were going to compete with them that you had to, protect at all costs. Now, everybody coming up is just so dangerous, and you can't rely on that old wrestler base just to keep pressure on, because if they can get to your leg or they can get to your ankle, you're in bad shape. And if you're not training leg locks or leg lock defense, you're not going to make it.
And I'll be honest, even though it's been a lot more part of the curriculum and working through it in training, I still hate the legs. I still hate it because
Me too.
the consequences are just so severe.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you have an ego or a pride issue, you're getting surgery.
Exactly.
Because you want to fight out of it, you want to push, and you think you're okay. You know, even that toe hold.
Right.
I mean, it's not hurting your toes. Mm-hmm. You know, it's rotating your foot sideways on axis, and you feel the pop.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I just watched an interview with Don Fry. Don Fry talked about how his fight way back in the day with Ken Shamrock, how even though he still won that fight, Ken broke both of his ankles during that fight.
Yeah.
And he says that still to this day, from that matchup alone, he has issues with his ankles. He said he was just trying to walk along his ranch out there in Arizona yesterday, and he was feeling it in his ankle. And it's like, man, like all this dates back to that time with Ken and the Lions Den and Ken Shamrock, Frank Shamrock, that whole crew way back when, Guy Metzger. Some of those guys, especially because they competed in the Pancrase rule set where you didn't have all the striking opportunities that you do now in field MMA.
Those alternate.
Exactly. They were some of the early guys who were ahead of the curve, I guess, and it kind of waned for a while, and then now it's back in full motion.
Yeah, it dropped out for probably most of my early jiu-jitsu career. And, man, when it came back around and legs were the thing, they've become the thing.
For the record, folks, this is monster number 2 for Trevor over here. That impresses me.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to number 3 in a minute.
This is going to be a matchup with Anthony Bendy, who's been a known commodity in our CJJC cage. His nickname, Rubber Band Man, is very fitting because this dude has rubber joints. He's been in some entanglements that are just completely perplexing and has been able to work his way through them and has been able to then find his way to victory.
I'm certainly jealous of guys who have that flexibility and, you know, just the inability to be hurt by just turning.
Correct.
I watch some of these guys, and I'm like, I would be in bed for 3 days.
Oh, yeah, not even
And not
a question.
because of a submission, just because of the way they bend their own bodies.
You have Darren Hilton coming into the mix here. He's looking to scoot himself into a guard opportunity.
Hilton making his CJJC debut. Did you see him just stand up and throw that leg over?
Yep.
Oh, my. Oh, to be young. He's wants to push those hips out just a little bit, clear some space. It's got that knee trapped underneath, so a little bit of an issue there. These guys are both rubber bands. Darren Hilton on the bottom, just working his way through. Bendy trying to work and pass that guard. I think he's trying to get himself over.
Yeah, Bendy is just such a crazy anomaly and
He's so
alien of
long.
dimensions. Exactly. He transitions
Slick.
himself into mount.
Slick move right to mount.
Keeping his head down on the mat, was looking for a potential head and arm there, but he has the opportunity to switch to head and arm on the opposite side here. He's got...
He wanted to shove that arm all the way through, but he didn't see it, so he transitioned to the back. He's got both hooks in.
Both hooks in, not panicking just yet. His hips are a little
Bendy's
bit
going to
high.
want to stretch him out, suck himself back down a little bit, and then stretch out Hilton, and he's going to be in a much better spot. When you're a long guy and you're riding high like that, there's not a lot of pressure on your opponent.
Good transition to the back here.
He's smooth on it, though, and he works that choke back and forth. He's not overly aggressive. He's just allowing it to happen. But Hilton, so calm, no pressure to defend.
Bendy's going with the scoop back and forth. He's got palm to palm there.
Changing directions on that choke has been paramount.
And he gets the rear naked
There's the
choke.
tap. He set that choke up by going hard to the left, and then as soon as the defense opened up, he just immediately transitioned the opposite way. The choke was right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner out of the red corner, the choke,
And congratulations to Anthony Bendy picking up that victory here today at CJJC 28 Grapple Party.
That's going to move him to 3-1 here in the CJJC cage.
Tremendous showing of him so far.
All right, we're going to take a quick intermission, give you guys a chance to get a t-shirt, get you guys a chance to get a drink, and just sort of back every time will be through. But we will be back here in 10 to 15 minutes. We'll see you here. Don't go anywhere.
All right, guys, stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes. As you heard Woody say, we're going to take intermission and then come right back with the main card.
Yes, sir. that heel hook finish in the first round of regulation there. Now, how does that shape up in terms of, where are they able to, they had some decent time to be able to recover and get themselves back to a baseline of recovery, and it is, though, also something to factor in when you have to go the full
Was there an
distance.
adrenaline dump?
Exactly. And that could be on both sides.
Was there recovery in the back? How did it feel? I mean, the good news is these guys are young. And, being young competitors, a lot of the times they don't even know that they're supposed to feel nerves yet.
It's not always a bad thing. Josh Oakes making his way through the cage from Onyx Jiu-Jitsu.
This music just makes me want to kick a puppy.
On him. Like Jack Black and Anchorman, taking Baxter right off the bridge. Just saying, Baxter.
I didn't think I had violence in me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this jiu-jitsu match is the CJJC tournament final. Representing to martial arts, please welcome Tafoya. And at the blue corner, representing Onyx Jiu-Jitsu, please welcome Tafoya.
And we're off.
Little slap bump to start it off here.
Collar tie from Jake. Right to an arm. Does he have a...
It's an arm triangle from the back
From the
here.
back. Switching over, takes the back. One hook in.
Aggressive and crafty right away for Josh Oakes.
He was not messing around.
Not at all.
He wants to get that second hook in or a body triangle. Looks like he's going to get the body triangle. There we go. He is on the chin.
And beautiful extension there. Wow.
Yes,
Hey, good defense there from Kobe.
Oh,
But that face crank is still, it's not going to finish it from that spot, but that is just nasty to deal with.
yeah. I'm hurting just watching. So Jake's working back and forth, which is great. You get your opponent moving side to side, and it usually opens up a door here or there. The only downfall is if they're slick as well, moving them side to side opens up doors for escapes.
Josh is just one step ahead here in the transitions.
So quick. Going to want to get that other hook in or slide it across and get a body lock. You'd like to see Oakes stretch him out so he has somewhere to work. Right now, it's allowing Tafoya to stay all balled up, which is a pretty safe spot, turtled up.
It's a safe spot, but with it only
You're not
being
winning.
one
Yeah.
5-minute round,
Yeah, you're
he's
not
also
winning
working
anything.
great positional control if this should go the distance and go to a referee's decision.
Absolutely.
Oakes looking a knee slice pass right away from the
He's
half guard,
very
switches back
aggressive with
around.
his entries. I love it.
Some knee on belly action here.
See if he can slide that across. No, he's okay with just putting him in the dead spot there.
Goes
Finding a
right
way
up
to-
to his corner with
Yep.
with Isaiah and Jesse Wright.
Tafoya smart, uses the cage to run up. That's something you don't get on a flat mat.
No, certainly not. And now Oakes working a front headlock series here. It's been savvy defense so far from Kobe, but it's just been a relentless,
Tafoya's unfortunately just been on defense the
Exactly.
entire time.
and it's been a multitude of variety in it, the attacks coming
He's
from
taken
Josh Oakes.
he's taken the back. He's worked the front headlock. Every which way he's going.
And I appreciate the craftiness of trying to work himself out of positions from Colby's side of things. You know, going inverted and then finally ultimately ends himself back up into a single, then tries to drop down off of
Unfortunately,
body
pulled him
lock.
right down on top of himself,
Yep, exactly.
which is the only negative to going to that body lock is if you don't get your hips turned over, you end up pulling them on top of you. And all of your effort is for naught.
Correct.
Tafoya's going to try to use that cage again to run himself out of danger. But Oaks said, not this time. I'll just grab the legs. Oh, look at that, out the back door. Right back to a body lock. Little whizzer from Oaks. Very quick to get that whizzer in at the last second.
Yep. Use savviness with the hips, you know.
Yep.
Just enough of a level change, even though his hips are standing naturally higher. And with the toe hold. He's looking to put that toe right into the sphincter.
Oof. That'll give you pink eye.
Double toe hold. Oh, and a nasty crank to be able to take some pressure off of that toe hold. But now he finds
he's in
himself
trouble.
into
He's
a
in
bad
trouble.
heel hook injury here.
Yeah, he's working back and forth.
And he's free from danger right now.
And toe hold of his own. I bet they're both just happy to be out of that entanglement for a moment.
Yes. Oh, my
Because as
Lord.
much offense as they had, it was equal defense, and they were both in bad situation. Was that the head between the thighs double leg?
That was.
It's little used.
High-paced action in round one here, or through regulation, I should say, for this championship round of our four-man bracket here. $300 on the line. Who takes it home in OT?
It was nice to see neither person playing safe. Both of them were going all out the entire time. Unfortunately for Mr. Tafoya, he spent the majority of the time in a defensive position, but towards the later end of that round, he turned his aggression up, which could have been the last thing in Gummerson's mind if this goes to referee's decision.
Correct. Oaks now secures that body lock. That leg triangle around the soft portion of the abdomen. When you have a guy who has long legs and who understands the extension, that is just so filthy.
Now, if Oak starts pressuring his hips in, there it goes, and stretching. Man, he's so fast with transferring that body triangle back and forth, too.
Kobe's staying calm, though, as much as he can in the process.
Yeah, Kobe tried to rotate over and put that triangle on the bottom side. Oaks transitioned it right at the same time. Now we're going with a little bit of that muffler.
Love to see it.
Yeah. The only thing we haven't seen is the old the nose grab.
You know, there's always those guys in the gym or those moves where when you say, well, if you want to be a dick, do this. That's when my ears perk up.
If you want to win $300, if you're not afraid of getting some boogers on your fingers,
When there's $300 on the line, give me the boogers, give me whatever it takes to win.
yeah, I'll go with the oil check if needed.
Not afraid to pull that either.
Here we go. Tafoya's on the back, and he locks in his own body triangle.
It's a little bit lower on the hips,
Yeah.
but that face crank is nasty.
Yeah, he's all the way across the chin. He's going to make him pay the whole way, even if he doesn't get it. He's going to stay on it. There you go. Breaks free.
Any submission will win now at this point, folks.
All right, now it's a free-for-all. Little blood coming from the nose at Tafoya.
Boy, trying to invert and find an opportunity.
Oaks takes it to north-south. Back into side control. Tafoya trying to use those legs to latch on, and that's the end of overtime.
And that wraps up OT.
Gummerson with the tough decision again. See which way this goes. It appeared that Oaks controlled the majority of the main round. No submissions in overtime, which means that Gummerson should eliminate all of the overtime action from his
Ladies and gentlemen, we
decision.
go to referee's decision for the winner of this tournament. Your winner out of the blue corner, Josh Oaks.
There we go. Gummerson awards Oaks the victory, and I'm assuming based on the control time in the main round.
All righty, folks, here we're here with now winner of our match bracket for the four-man tournament today, Josh Oaks. Josh, how you feeling after picking up that victory? How does it feel being able to walk out here with a little bit of cash in your pocket, right on the head of the holiday season? Awesome. Now, that was a couple of matches here today. Was there any sort of extra nerves? Did you have to deal with adrenaline dump, anything of that sort? Now that you're having your second match of the day? Awesome. Now, give you the opportunity one more time. Shout out anybody, friends, family, sponsors, anybody that you want. There you have it right there, folks. Thanks a million for Josh Oaks.
All right, Josh Oaks heading home with $300 in his
Folks, make
pocket.
sure you should pick up those 50-50 tickets as well as stop by the merch booth while you still have the chance here. And we'll be on to our next matchup.
All right, so we are going to move on to match number 14 of the night. Tyree Wolfark out of AMAG, Colorado, purple belt, and he's making his CJJC debut.
And folks, we're just going to bring you a quick word from a very tried and true veteran here of the Colorado stage. We have a black belt also in the jiu-jitsu world who is a longtime veteran of the UFC, bantamweight Chris El Guapo Gutierrez. Chris, how you doing today?
What's going on, baby? We live?
We are live right now. You're hot on the mic as we have this matchup that's coming out here. We have making his way to the cage. We have Tyree Wolfark of AMAG Colorado and John Sparks of Evergreen Jiu-Jitsu. But real quick, Chris, how do you feel about the atmosphere here for CJJC 28?
Oh, man, it's dope. This is my first time to one of these events, and it's kind of cool, especially, got a couple of teammates on the card. But also, cool to see some of these guys going up with some of these veterans. The atmosphere is good. I like the vibes. The energy is high.
In terms of preparation, especially for some of these guys that are looking to transition into the MMA world, what do you feel about what CJJC brings in terms of it being kind of a hybrid element? It's basically everything that you see within an MMA fight minus the striking. You have the cage, you have the wrestling, you have all subs legal, you have slams in the process. How do you feel that prepares some of these young guys who are ready to try to make that transition in the future to MMA?
Man, I think it's good. Anytime you can get in the ring or the cage, that's you're getting that ring time, you're getting that cage time. It matters. I wish I had this around when I was coming up. I would have definitely took part of it, but they just kind of threw us in there.
That's the old school way, but we've got to see some of these young kids, 16-year-olds who are out here getting after it earlier too. What does that make you feel about the future of jiu-jitsu and grappling?
Oh man, the sport's getting younger and younger. The fact that there are 16-year-old guys that are grappling like they've been doing this for years, and this only been their first year doing it. You know what I mean? It's pretty good.
Yep, absolutely. Now, Chris, don't want to take up too much of your time. Just wanted to say thank you very much for joining us here along and seeing you here in the crowd. Give some respect to you on that way, as well as being a black belt in the jiu-jitsu community. Chris, any other parting words that you want to share out to the fans?
No, I appreciate you, Mr. Kurtz, for getting me out here, and let's enjoy the show.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us here along, and enjoy the rest of the show, my man.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. We have the blessing of having Chris here for this first match here of the main card. Outside of our cash bracket, we have John Sparks of Evergreen with the tattoos. You have Tyree Wolfark wearing the black and the red. Tyree Wolfark has a ton of fights underneath his belt. He's got lots of MMA fights, Muay Thai, and then is now also forging his way into the grappling world. He's being cornered by Cody Scher and Brian Eastman. John Sparks being cornered by Professor Scotty Miller, as well as Professor Boris. Professor Boris, also out of the Grapple House in Littleton.
This is at 145 pounds.
Yes, sir. This 145-pound no-gi matchup. 2 rounds for this one.
That's nice.
I love that Tyree is putting himself into the mix as a grappling-specific competitor, too. He had a big fight. He had an MMA fight against a kid named Theo Robeson, who is going to be competing for an amateur title just a couple of months ago. And Darius is a slick D1 wrestler, and I think he noticed that there were some opportunities in his game, and I love that he's taken that humble martial artist approach and putting himself into the fire and specifically grappling to work on that.
For sure, you know. Like I said, man, anytime you can get some time on the mat, especially at the things that you need work on, man, it's just all that time counts.
Certainly. A little bit of positional exchanges here from the tie-up.
They're both fighting each other good with the head.
Yeah, and Tyree's really good from that clinch type position. I mean, he's got, like I say, so many Muay Thai fights that working from the plum, he's very comfortable.
Yeah, he's comfortable there.
Now starting to work toward the back. No hooks in at this point, so Sparks is going to be able to start to work to his feet, pushing the hands down. Has a little bit of a Kimura trap here on that arm.
Let's see if he can get it. Oh, he abandoned it.
Abandoned it. It looked like he almost tried to jump the Gilly.
Silly Gilly. Can't jump it. Why not?
Hey, sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, right?
Sometimes you do.
And it's also, too, if he feels like he's confident from working from the bottom, then maybe you can open up and you can take some more of those chances.
Yeah. If he's not worried about not being able to get up or get subbed, then, yeah, you kind of have free range to do what you want. Try some things. They're both pretty evenly matched. I like when the matches are like that.
Yeah, we've had some really competitive matches all throughout the card today. You know, a lot of submissions, but competitive in the process.
Yeah. They weren't easy. Okay.
These guys were chirping at each other a little bit yesterday at the weigh-in, so it's nice to see them having some crazy energy. Big dump there from Tyree, but Tyree didn't pounce on it once he had Sparks down to the canvas.
They're fighting for that leg position.
Good use of the head by Sparks up against the fence here.
Oh, nice.
The wizard toss from Tyree secures the takedown. Sparks has a butterfly in.
You can tell from being in the clinch a lot, he's physically strong. Every time they tie up, he's usually the one winning those exchanges.
Absolutely. And some of it is just, it's experience.
Yeah.
Man. It's just time in the saddle. Moving toward the final stages of this first round of regulation. That is one thing that Tyree is potentially leaving open at times by keeping his elbows out so wide from this spot is, as Professor Scotty, if you guys could hear it over the loud or over the mics, there is the potential for the Kimura trap to come back in.
He's trying to work that underhook.
Try to go for the butterfly sweep. Tyree quick with the hips to be able to follow the action and maintain that top position. And round one is in the books.
Okay. It's an even match.
Now it's going to be interesting to see how these guys both recover, be able to get themselves back down to a baseline to come back out for round two. You know, I think that in terms of some of the recovery aspect, you would think that this leans in Tyree's way just by the experience factor, but it's not exactly the most comfortable realm for him, being that he is more of a striking specialist. Obviously, again, he has a lot of MMA fights. He's got a ton of Muay Thai fights in the process, but it's a different sort of fatigue when you're just grappling the entire time, right?
Yep.
Can you kind of speak to that fatigue factor?
Yeah, I mean, anytime. Say that again. Sorry.
Can you speak to the fatigue factor a little bit, or what you might be experiencing in between rounds?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a full body. You know, your body, your muscles are all. You know, think about it. You're trying to fight another man. You're trying to force him into certain positions. Yeah, the blood gets rushing to. Man, it just feels like you're walking in mud.
It's all about kind of managing and trying not to go to that adrenaline dump state, right?
Yeah. You got to learn to control it. That's a real thing. Oh, nice.
Single leg pickup from Tyree, but Sparks looking to snatch the neck off of the process. Wise to it to not get dumped.
They're both doing good at, you know, not giving too much. But oh, nice. Oh, he's trying to go. You can tell he's probably got some really good guillotines. That's his go-to move.
Yeah, I would like to see him run a snap down a little bit more, though, in the process, just because, you know, if
Throw
you're just
something else out
shooting the
there,
choke right away, then somebody who does have some experience, even albeit just in the MMA side and not necessarily a whole ton in like a CJJC rule set, Tyree is going to be wise to the choke.
Yeah, they can see that. They can feel it too. Because a lot of wrestling and grappling very much feel.
But then that also, if you snap him down, that may open up a takedown opportunity, though, in the process, because if he reacts hard and postures back up, well, then there's your fit in. Tyree looking for the wither toss. In on a single leg. Tyree's corner asking for a foot sweep here.
Oh, smart to let go.
Great posturing and defense there from Sparks in the process. Sparks with the wrist ride. He's looking for that front headlock
really
series
is.
a lot. But, I mean, that's a specialty Professor Scotty, though, too,
Yeah.
at the same time. So I'm not really surprised that those are some of the attacks that he keeps going toward.
Yeah. But, like we were talking about a while ago, you got to mix it up a little bit. Oh, he's trying to go for Kimura now? Okay. Oh, he's trying to invert.
Halfway through round 2 of regulation, folks. Sparks trying to forage for openings here from the bottom. Tyree getting athletic, trying to find his choke opportunity as well. Sparks wise to it.
Try to
defends
jump
the
for
front
Gillan,
headlock.
too.
Yep. Sometimes it's a little bit of a copycat end of things, right?
It
like
is.
you have your opponent throws a couple of attacks at you, and then you're like, okay,
I
well,
can do that, too.
let me get back at you. That was a good use. Now, that's what I love more to see from Tyree once he has Sparks up against the fence is using that dead zone, using the head pressure, and keeping Sparks.
Yeah, just making it nasty.
Keep him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Keep his head and his spine off alignment from being able to posture up and gain any sort of integrity back to his defense. But
He's got now on the
Sparks
legs.
trying to get underneath the leg here.
Ah.
Tyree could potentially.
Oh, Tyree almost has a arm and neck. Oh, if he can clear that leg.
It's a nasty head and arm right there if he can continue to get the angle. Stuff he doesn't. And he gets a submission by head and arm triangle here.
Well done.
All right. Tyree Wolfark with the arm triangle in under 20 seconds left. Great show of sportsmanship.
Folks, I'm here with your winner, Tyree Wolfark. Tyree, how you feeling right now? Tired. 2 rounds of action right there. A lot of high pace scrambling in the mix. Describe what you thought as you started to see that show. Did you feel like it was there? Did you feel like it was going to be a little bit of a grind to be able to finally get to that last sequence in that submission?
It was hard passing his guard the whole time. Every time I try to keep passing, guard was good. So, I don't know if y'all see I got a new cage for extra headroom. Yeah, I never did that in my never.
You're a well-versed martial artist, had a ton of MMA fights, ton of Muay Thai fights. Now this being something that you force into the CJJC world, how is this going to just parlay your future endeavors as a fighter?
I want to be world champion, so everything, this got to be in a cage, a mat, a ring. So, yeah, opportunity.
What's next for you?
I got another MMA fight next week. I'm flying for a championship, so anybody that wants to support me, please. Second, and thank you. I appreciate you.
That being said, what do you want to give a shout out to your friends, supporters, everybody?
DJ up there, I don't know if you're paying attention. Everybody that I've never trained with tell me get this far about career, so let's wake up everybody.
Thank you so much right there. Makes it goes to Tyree Wolfark, folks.
There we go. Tyree Wolfark with the victory. And we will be moving on to match number 15, 195-pound nogi match between Ben Bennett and Silas Armetta.
All right, folks, I want to remind everybody, Pilar is going to go around one more time for that 50-50 raffle. Get you guys a raffle ticket. One ticket is $5, or you can get 5 tickets for $20. So Pilar's going to be walking around here in the next match. After that, we'll come out here with all the winners. So get you a last-minute raffle ticket.
Things are about to get electric in here.
We got Mr. Alaska making his way to the cage right now. Ben Bennett, probably one of the most unique guys that we have on the Colorado scene in terms of his approach or his self-promotion and the way that he puts himself out there. I love it. I talked about it on the pre-show that
He's working his way through the crowd.
oh yeah, I mean, he's a showman through and
Taking
through.
the hot lap. He's taking a hot lap all the way around.
I love
the
it.
outside of the cage.
You know, and I've known Ben for years now. He's a great dude, just in person. You know, you can't meet a more just salt of the earth type of person in that sense. We just sat there and chatted after weigh-ins for a while yesterday. He was making his little video that he was putting up for promo after weigh-ins, and on top of just a ton of content that he put out for the show. So we appreciate that from the company standpoint.
He understands the social media aspect of being a competitor.
And it's a unique approach because he brings a brand of humor that we don't typically see from
He
a
cracks
lot of
me
guys
up.
in the fight world. You know, a lot of guys aren't willing to kind of have that off-brand humor, for lack of a better term, and just have these goofy sort of approaches. You know, he calls it some of his tism at times, but I love it. A veteran of Dana White's Contender Series, has fought in the BYB Trigon, LFA multiple times. This is just, like I say, the consummate competitor and a guy who you can expect fireworks every single time. The last time that he was here in the CJJC cage, he had a very tough opponent in UFC veteran AJ the Ghost Fletcher, and that was a down-to-the-wire matchup.
Yes, it was. Mr. Bennett appears to not have missed a day in the gym.
Not at all. And Man works overnights too, so he's fresh in the mix. Got his little nap, if you will, before he got here to compete today. And again, anytime that Ben Bennett's in there, you're going to see a kid who goes out there to leave everything in the cage.
As often as we watch him compete, somehow I forget that he is a blue belt.
It's crazy. Yeah, but
It doesn't make sense.
But it's sort of those where sometimes you're like, is he really?
Yeah.
Based off of his wrestling acumen, has done work at times with the guys over at Onyx before with some of those high-level wrestlers too. Obviously, the most of his work at high altitude. But he's got a tough test today in Silas Armetta out of Evergreen Jiu-Jitsu.
And Evergreen Jiu-Jitsu has showed up and showed out today. They have definitely made it difficult for multiple people.
Certainly.
Jiu-Jitsu. Please welcome Arta.
Armetta with that serial killer stare across the cage.
Be interesting to see Ben's approach coming into the fold here.
Let's see where we're going to go. Little hand fighting to open it up.
Ben gets the underhook right away along with the wrist ride.
It's got that hook. There we go.
Secures the trip.
Little easy side trip down.
Working with the head right in the dead zone.
Tripod up, putting a lot of pressure. Armada content with a closed guard approach. In a no-gi, especially submission-only situation, you would want to see that guard open and those hips active. But with Mr. Alaska on top of you, that's a tall order.
Certainly. Yeah, just maybe try to collect yourself for just a second here
Yeah.
before you allow him to pass and you get to a really dominant spot.
You want to make sure you're ready to go, because if you hesitate even a little bit with that guard open, Bennett's going to cross. He's going to pass your guard, and you're going to be in a much worse situation.
Yep, and Ben
There he
collecting the
goes,
legs
collected
here,
the
moving
legs.
toward the mount.
Little Khabib climb. Nice float.
But that wrestling from Ben, though, being able to keep the ankle collected to not allow for the space. A little grab there from Silas.
That was an oopsie grab. And we have them right here in our kitchen.
Ben diving in head first here. Ben stapling the left arm of Silas Armetta.
Men's in a tough spot. He's stuffed up against the
Now
cage.
Ben working for that front
Front
headlock
head.
series.
Transitions around to a wrestler ride. See how much pressure we get. We're going to get some hooks in, or are we just going to...
Gotta love the
It's
showmanship.
bred into him. He's definitely making Armetta carry his weight every chance he gets. Just dragging it on.
Drag and secure the trip. Nope, works
And
around
right
to the back,
to a
though.
body lock.
Back
We tried a
return.
little Granby roll from Armetta.
Yeah, and sometimes, especially when you have someone bringing that heavy pressure down, you better hope that your shoulder's clear. Otherwise, that is a neck crunch from hell.
Yeah, that could leave a mark. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd attempt the Granby roll with someone like Ben chasing me down.
That might be all I have a chance to get away.
I know, but man, he's so fast.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
You don't want to end up in that bad spot.
No.
Three-quarter mount. I don't know.
Ben
Now
with
we
that
got back.
Dagestani
Both
handcuff,
hook.
being able to take the back in the process.
Both hooks in. Nope. Now he just lets me. He's so fast and free with it. He'll have the hooks in and say, I want
I
to
think
move over
that's
here.
a sign of a mature grappler or mature competitor, though, too, in the process of, like, you're not married to anything.
Right.
If it's not there, then you just move on to the next thing.
Turn the page. Turn little neon belly time.
Stepping over, looking for potential key lock opportunity here.
See if he can scoop it.
Key
He's
lock,
also in a
arm
good
bar.
spot if he steps over with that arm bar. Looks like he's just trying to gather. Now he's going back to the Kimura. Armeta's smart, hiding that hand down between his thighs. Oh. Sweat got him out of that one.
And smart for Armeta to be able to scrape his shoulders right back to the mat. There it is. That was a bad spot with that key lock potentially in motion.
Armeta's spending a lot of time on the bottom and not throwing up a lot of submission attempts.
Ben looking at a toe hold now himself.
Nope. Armeta wrestles up, gets back to his feet. Bennett
Intense
again,
pressure from Ben.
right back against that cage.
Again, the vet savviness of the head position there off of the fence. That's round one in the books here. Big smile for Mr. Alaska here in between rounds. He's got
Finally
that
broke his sweat.
bubblegum piece, or that bubblegum pink mouthpiece in the mix, just like all the gum that he was chewing all through camp in his videos.
Is he all out of bubble gum now?
You know what they say when you run out of bubblegum.
It's time for that ass kicking.
What do you need to see from Silas Armeta to be able to have more success?
You cannot win a submission-only match when you are fighting off the bottom, trying to keep a close guard. He's got to start throwing some stuff at it. I mean, it's go for broke time.
Yeah. Anything.
Oh, Ben Bennett came over to us and asked what we wanted to see him finish him with.
You know, sometimes though, I know that those guys over at high altitude, they have their own little side plots of, you know, what should I finish with you guys? Caleb Crump had a specific thing on his last matchup. So, but
never
either
know.
way, you
never
never
know.
know. Ben, again, he's fun to watch.
The confidence, too.
I mean, I feel like you can have confidence though when you were in the driver's seat for the entire
Yes.
5 minutes.
But this is a brand new round. Round one in the books. No damage. Silas, we need to see a duck under or an arm drag, something to get him in a position that he can at least work to a body lock or a single leg. You know, being with his butt against the cage has kind of been the MO of them on their feet.
Ben's hips are just so good in being able to anchor his position. I mean, he's not giving up any ground as far as these basically call them like a bull position of them just being head to head.
Yep.
And then goes to secure the takedown right there.
Little
Ends up
ankle
in this-
pick to trip and just right back where he wanted to be. This is where we spent most of the first round with Ben Bennett on top.
Sitting
And
here in the
unfortunately,
side control.
Armeta's been fighting for his life on the bottom. Never really had a chance to get an offense going yet, but that's the thing about submission only. It can end as quickly as it started.
Ben took a little risk there going for the key lock,
Yeah.
but out of harm's way and off of the bottom immediately. This is something that Ben does great in his MMA fights too, is working guys off of the cage.
Yeah, it's so it zaps so much energy when they have you stuffed against the cage and they're just leaning on you and pressuring into you and everything you do just to create a slightly better position only for them to take it away and lean on you some more.
Fishing a little bit there for an arm in choke.
Yeah.
Does enough to create a scramble, have a little bit of activity here. Moves on to the next thing.
Right back to a wrestler ride. Let's see if he can slide those hips over and take the back. Ben's not real interested in running with the hooks. I bet if you asked him, he feels like it slows him down.
Fair assessment. You saw Silas try to go inverted for the knee, but again, Ben is just so solid with the hips that
Right.
it's a tough transition to make with a guy who has the wrestling that Ben does.
And just as hard as Silas just worked to improve his position, Ben stands up, kind of shrugs it, and goes right back to top.
At what point does it build a little bit of frustration or discouragement?
It's already built. Or at least if it's me, it's already built. There's nothing worse than you working your butt off and someone just like, okay.
Fair enough. Ben looking at a straight ankle now.
Silas works his way back to his feet, and Ben puts him right back on the cage. I mean, if you're Silas at this point, you got to start looking for the neck.
Ben is like an offensive line coach's dream, though. If you're run blocking, he's just
Oh, man.
low with his hips and just marches.
Drive. Got him right back over here in our living room. He's so fast with his hips. He floats so well.
Ben working on toe. Transitions. Just baits the straight ankle for a second.
Mm-hmm. Armeta's, it's time to go for broke. There's no, if this goes to decision, there's no win for Armeta.
No.
So right now is just like overtime for him. He should just be hunting submissions like there's no tomorrow, throwing his legs up. I mean, it's easy to say from here, I don't have a big old wet blanket on top of me.
That's the perfect way to describe what Ben has done this entire round, is just being a wet blanket.
Yep, just making him carry him, smothering him out.
It's like that song, "Everywhere You Go, There I Am."
Yeah. I don't remember a moment that Ben was in trouble at any point, or actually out of control.
Yeah, Silas had the time where he elevated him a little bit, and it was just more or less he created a transition versus putting
Right.
Ben in a bad spot, if you will.
It's so tough.
Silas makes his way back to the feet. They both kind of feint a little knee at each other there. Now we see who takes the back first in our period of overtime.
I would say that all of the pressure at this point is now on Silas Armeta.
Silas has to finish.
There's no way that he gets a decision from Gummerson at this point. So now it's just go, go, go.
Correct.
Here we go. Ben immediately gets hips over and shoulders working towards the ground. He's got his arms tangled just enough that he's not really in danger of a choke. Now he's going to come out the back door, it looks like. Yep, right out the back door.
And is working on an arm attack himself, but Silas is able to clear it. And like you say, Silas, I feel like he just has to
Everything.
empty the tank right now.
Everything all day. Ben's got that ankle.
Good defense, though, from Silas, putting weight into the
Stands
foot.
up. Yep.
And you hear Professor Scotty Miller saying, you have to go for something, Silas. You only have 15 seconds left in this period.
I believe that was the first time we saw Silas on top, but Ben quickly
Big double leg.
remedied that situation. All right. 60 seconds left. And we're off to the races. Let's see how this one's going to play out. Ben's got both hooks in. Let's see if he keeps them. No,
Working to
not-
the head and arm.
he's not interested. I would assume that Ben has something on his mind that he would love to finish with. or else he would have probably stayed on that back. Really no pressure on him, though.
No, I mean, if he just rides out this round without getting submitted, he's got it in the books.
Correct.
But he's kept going to that key lock series a few different times throughout the match. Silas, though, you have to give credit to Silas for at least being savvy to it and not allowing that vice of Mr. Alaska to be able to secure the deal.
Sure. The one thing I would like to see from Ben, he's been working that key lock series, but he should be using it now to open up a different door. You know, get him looking. Sometimes we get it stuck in our brain that we want to finish with something.
It's never bad to finish.
Should be a fairly straightforward decision for Mr. Gummerson.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the decision. Your winner out of the red corner.
Great match from Ben Bennett. Let's see what him and Jordan have to talk about.
All right, folks, I'm here with your winner, Mr. Alaska, Ben Bennett, one of the most entertaining guys to follow on social media. If you're not already, check him out. That's Mr. Alaska. But Ben, how you feeling after that matchup? Combat Sports bare knuckle to Tender Series veteran. What is next for you? Trying to go to the UFC. What's the next step in social for them?
Just rattling off things. Just competing all the time. Keeping the optimism cranked on high.
Gotta love it right there, folks. Now, Ben, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to? Friends, family, supporters on the way out?
We got O'Brien, Avery, all the guys I have. Shotguns! Love you guys. It's amazing. Some of the my roommate, like really everyone for taking time out of the day to come out and support us.
So one last thing here, Ben. I noticed that you had the bubblegum pink mouthpiece. Now, was that by design based off of your promo content that you had all the way leading into this matchup?
You already know.
There you go right there, folks. Make some noise for Ben Bennett.
The always entertaining Ben, Mr. Alaska Bennett, heading off into the sunset. I'm sure he is ready to party.
All right, folks, this is your last chance to find Pilar and buy one of those raffle tickets. 50-50 raffle ticket. Half goes to you, the other half goes to Jefferson High School's wrestling team. So make sure you take advantage of that. Get ready to wrap that up here. All right. Please welcome our next event today. That's the right one.
Alexa Johnson out of Amag, Colorado. She is a purple belt. One MMA fight to her credit. She's also a kickboxer.
Yeah, Alexa Johnson is someone who I think has a tremendous story in terms of seeing her transformation along her journey as a martial artist. But I will say this, she has a very tough test on her hands today with Alexandra the Great Anderson coming out of the sanctuary. Alexandra in her last matchup here in the CJJC cage had a triangle finish that was so slick and applied so tight, so fast that she's definitely going to have to be wary of all the sub-attacks. And there's definitely a difference in dimensions here. You know, we have a much more compact and shorter reach for Alexa, whereas Alexandra has those long dimensions that make those triangle attacks so much more dangerous.
This is exactly the matchup of opposites. You just never know what you want to deal with. Do you want to deal with the strong, compact size of an Alexa Johnson, or man, that octopus reach of an Alexandra Anderson? as a grappler, it was always hard for me as a short, compact guy to deal with those long limbs and flexible opponents.
It's also something, too, when you have somebody like Alexandra who is not just long, but knows how to use that.
Right.
It's
With
very
the
skilled in
leverage
using the
on top.
leverage. It's at the end of the day, I mean, the root of jiu-jitsu is all leverage, right?
My red corner. He's representing. Please welcome.
Alexandra has one of the most sinister stares that I've seen across the cage in a long time.
Jiu-jitsu. Please welcome. Alexandra. The Great.
She looks like she left all the F's to give at home and is just ready to go.
Oh, yeah, they're all gone.
There we go. The sportsmanship to open it up, slapping a bump, and right to a collar tie.
Alexandra with the positional exchange here off of the fence. Starting now to work to head and arm attack here, or front headlock, I should
Front
say.
headlock, yep. She's got all that down pressure working for her right now.
Pulls the trip and is now working a guillotine up here against the fence. If she can start to pull in that elbow and keep those hips in tight, this could be
working that second
big
hand.
trouble for Alexa.
She's working that second hand in. I think she's got her home now.
And she's starting to squeeze a little bit here. This is a bad spot
reworking.
for
Reworking that second grip, looking for the other spot.
It's a little high, and it looks like
That's out.
Alexa has cleared the hands here, but still a very, very bad spot. Great use of the head, too, for Alexandra.
Yeah. Just using every advantage right now, using the cage, using the leverage.
She's got the gift wrap in place.
There she go, pulled it tight too.
Great use of the head positioning here as she puts herself in between Alexa and the fence.
It's a really uncomfortable spot that Alexa's in. You know, you're in gift wrap and you have someone long that can take your back from multiple positions and transition from mount to back so easily based on what you're giving.
Key lock grip is there. Obviously, the head is still in play
you gotta
for
pop
Alexa.
that. You got to pop that arm around.
But it puts multiple different attacks in motion. That's a great funnel position to be in, to where you can continue to work the key lock series. You have arm bars available. Depending on the action from your opponent, you could also slide through for an arm triangle.
Alexa was trying to wall walk and get out of there. Alexandra quickly identified that and started pulling her away from the cage, taking that leg leverage away.
But one thing I will say about everybody who comes from the sanctuary,
watch this
just
arm bar.
tremendous fundamental jiu-jitsu.
Watch this armbar. She waited and waited until she had the exact spot she wanted to open it up. Oh. Alexa with a slick hip
Watch for the
transition.
triangle
Yeah,
transition.
watch this, yep. Pop that up on top. Alexandra's maintained that gift wrap grip the entire way.
Looks like she's going to go to the back.
And if you've never been there, it is one of the most frustrating spots to be in when they're just using your own arm as leverage against you. Body triangle.
She's a little high into the side for the body triangle, but it's
There's
still
just so
secured.
much of her.
Right, exactly.
You're working against the short torso of Alexa, which, I mean, it's going to be hard for Alexandra to not be high on that ride.
But just the pressure alone with long legs as somebody who is strong with the body triangle, and then now
Stretched
switches
her
to
out. Grapevine and stretched her out for a moment there. She's so smooth with moving her hips from that mount position right back to taking the back.
suffocating pressure in the process here.
Just staying right on top of it.
If you're Alexa, what do you need to be doing right now to try to clear yourself out of that gift wrap and get free from this bad spot?
At this point, you gotta fight those hands off. Get your arm back to you. Get your elbow back down. I mean, if you don't get your appendages back, you're just fighting a losing battle the whole way. And right back to the arm bar, possible. Watch out.
Cleared for the arm bar.
She's got
But
that
triangle
leg
still in
slung
play.
up there. Let's see if she gets a little push-pull. Would not be surprised to see that triangle over the top. Oh, no.
Good recovery from Alexa.
Alexa, really smart. Took that triangle attempt away. Tripod up, pressure in. Oh,
But going straight arms like that, that was
that's
a
dangerous.
rough choice.
That is a dangerous spot to be in. Now we've got that first piece of the triangle. Now it's going to be about, can I get over to the angle and get my foot pulled across?
Strong high guard to finish the round there for Alexandra the Great Anderson.
I wish I could be so nonchalant between rounds. Just stroll back to my corner like that.
Right?
I need them to send a winch cord over and just pull me.
Just keep on reeling it in, right?
Help me out.
Now, if you were on the bottom there, as Alexa Johnson was for the majority of the round, there was a lot of suffocating moments, but you also used a lot of energy if you were Alexandra being on top in some of those sequences, trying to flatten her out, trying to hold that body triangle. What are you doing to bring your heart rate back down after a high expenditure round like that?
So what we want to do is, we want to get those long breaths in, draw as much oxygen we can, concentrating on reducing our heart rate, just recovery. I mean, everybody wants to hear what their coaches have to say, but sometimes just getting that blood moving correctly back through your body.
It's kind of that big inhale, big exhale, maybe one or two times, and the short in out. Maybe takes about 10 seconds of that 60. That way you have about 40-ish seconds of coaching time before they hit that seconds out sort of timer to get your corner back out.
Alexandra's already got that underhook working. Nice hand fighting from
And
Alexa,
everybody
though.
approaches in between rounds differently, right? Like we had Chris Owapo Gutierrez on the call earlier for a match. Chris is very unique in terms of, for a lot of guys, or he has just a spot-on line of communication with Coach Mark Montoya to where that first 10 seconds, they don't even say a word. They just give him his water, put it over his head for a second. After 10 seconds, okay, he's back. He's
Let's
ready
go.
to listen.
Yeah,
Whereas some, they can hear it right away.
right. And you have to know that. As a coach, you have to understand your athlete. Are they going to need a moment?
And I think that comes with time and experience too, as a competitor,
Right.
to where you as a competitor have to also be as honest or humble with yourself to be able to talk to your coaches and say, "Hey, if you're saying anything in these first 10 seconds, it's not registering. I
Right,
need
I'm
you to
not
give me
hearing
that
you. Give me a
breath.
second. Yep.
Boom, and I'm back." We have Alexa back down into the turtle position with Alexandra working from the front headlock. Bull rush from Alexa, putting Alexandra's back up against the cage.
You could almost see a drop-down fireman's from there.
Correct.
Did you see how she had that arm stretch? If
see
she just bailed her hips, nobody was going to
Slick
expect to
back
see
take
it.
right
Oh man, how did she get there? Stepped all the way over the top.
Long legs to be able to make
That's
the time.
outside of my repertoire. I would have trouble stepping over a sixth grader.
Yes. Little leg, Lex. Little legs.
Alexa's trying to get those shoulders to the mat, get herself out of danger. The 2-on-1 from that far side.
I say that Dagestani handcuff is so tough to deal with.
And right back on that neck. I can't tell if it's under or nope.
Across the jaw, but still uncomfortable.
She's going to hip switch. She might end up on top. She's fighting the fence and her opponent, unfortunately, to try to switch those hips. If you're Alexa, at some point you're going to want, I mean, the ride is high because she's so long. I mean, I would start digging my heels and trying to get myself even lower make it more difficult for her to gather any parts.
Correct.
I mean, that's easy for me to say because I don't have someone cranking my face apart either.
Right. Especially once she goes gable grip and starts to really extend with the lower half. That's a tough bear to deal with.
Yeah, it's just such a tough spot. See, right here, dig with your heels, dig with your heels. You get your hips way below, it's hard to choke. I mean, unless you have 9-foot arms too, I guess. Hard for me to choke.
Yeah. But I do got to give credit to Alexa in the process of just being wise to each transition of attacks here that Alexandra's bringing.
She's definitely been losing the transitions, but she's been able to stay out of imminent danger.
This
the
is tough
entire
right now,
way.
though. This is starting to get
Yeah.
much tougher of a spot.
She's getting stretched out a little bit.
But is able to fight the hands just enough to be able to avoid the finish.
Alexandra's so composed and just staying there, taking what's given, not forcing anything. I mean, obviously, we'd like to see her go for broke at this point.
Here, Mr. Salisbury right over the guardrail right here, calling for the arm triangle, which was an opportunity there. But Alexa, with this swoop and ends up on top herself, ends up in Alexandra's guard.
That's got to be a moral victory. At least gives her a spark right there. She's well under a minute to go. But boy, if she could get something going right here.
Using her head pressure with the head in the dead zone. At least make it a little bit uncomfortable for Alexandra going into overtime.
Yes.
It's not going to be enough time for her to find a finish at this point.
Just keeping the pressure on. Alexandra, I mean,
That's dangerous territory, reaching back to the ankle that way.
that's how you get a triangle real quick.
But wise to her, for I think she's like, okay, nope, don't want to do that.
Don't want to go there. It's got a little key lock.
A little key lock.
Unfortunately,
From
there's
the
nowhere
guard.
to go with it. And we'll make our way to overtime. As with the previous match, I believe that all the pressure right here is on Alexa Johnson. Keeps her hooks in. See what kind of pressure she can put on. Alexandra transitions over.
Scrapes the hips in the process.
She's got that knee blade in, which is very, very nice for those long-legged opponents. You can extend just a little bit, gives you so much space.
Love working from that K, just putting that knee right in the hip and keeping you off.
Yeah. It's so hard to fight that knee shield when they're just that long.
Correct.
Alexandra replaces her guard. We're seeing Alexa
Smashes her
really
right
try
back
to
down.
smash right into her. Unfortunately, a pressure position is not going to get you a sub. Little triangle attempt. All right, change in position. Let's see what Alexandra can do with the back. Rotates back. Let's see if we get a body triangle, which I would assume we'll see.
Back to the mat. Yes, ma'am. Right there. You see it. Yes, ma'am.
Very surprised that we haven't seen that body triangle locked up.
Any
Maybe she
sub
doesn't
wins
feel
at
she
this
doesn't
stage.
need it yet. She's on that chin. It's a lot of pressure. But she's not getting stretched out. And Alexa pops out. Takes that topside control again. If there's no submission in the overtime round, all the action in overtime is discarded. And Mr. Gerson will make his decision based on the two active rounds. I thought we were going to see a fan sweep there for a second. Oh, yeah. All right, this one is going to be up to Mr. Gummerson at this point. Great sportsmanship from both ladies in the cage. Let's see how Paul Gummerson saw this match.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a referee decision for your winner. Out of the blue corner.
Tough match, was exciting.
Transitions back and forth, hard fought matchup there. Who were your partners to prepare for this, and what did you do to get ready for this matchup here?
Let's see. A couple now. My friend Johnny.
What's next for you?
Next up.
Anybody else that you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to my friends and family. Support. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys.
Alrighty. Great win for Alexandra the Great Anderson. Ready to go celebrate. She has a nice crowd here for her today. We're going to move on to match number 17. That's going to be Zach Lindsay versus Jason Mullen. That is a 190-pound no-gi matchup. And here is Woody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have fun out there. That's what I like to hear. We still have 3 more matches for you, but don't go anywhere. Please welcome first.
Making his way down to the cage right now for the red corner, we have Zach Lindsay.
I actually believe I gave Zach Lindsay his intro
Oh,
to
yeah?
jiu-jitsu. Yeah, he came into the gym, wanted to train, and I think his first class was with me.
That's awesome. Zach Lindsay is a great kid. I mean, I say kid, I guess at this point. He's a grown-ass man, but you know, I'm an old
be his
dog too
dad.
as well. But
Still
yeah,
a kid.
he's an extremely athletic kid. Was a football player in college. His brother was a Denver Broncos standout at CU as a buff. His brother Marcus is also a fighter in the community. His brother Marcus is in his corner here today.
Please welcome his opponent.
And making his way to the red corner, into the blue corner, we have Jason Cassius Mullen. Jason Mullen coming to us by way of Factory X. Now, this is a difference of, in terms of this matchup stylistically, if you will, this is a martial artist taking on an athlete,
I
right?
can't hear you.
Just too busy grooving with the ice baby
Oh,
over
sorry.
here, huh?
Yeah, I was in.
Yeah. When we take a look at Jason, I mean, Jason has been on the competition scene for more than a decade plus now. Looking at the lay of the land in terms of just their tail of the tape or their resumes and records, Jason has more submissions than Zach has total fights.
Right.
But that also is always, that doesn't always mean that somebody in Zach's position who is a tremendous athlete can't pull some crazy stuff off in the process. But if we're looking at who has more depth to their martial arts arsenal, that advantage certainly goes to Jason Mullen.
Absolutely. If you're just looking at him on paper, if they don't fight him and you put him in, and you just put him into an algorithm, Jason Mullen should be the victor. But what you can't calculate there is the athletic ability and the heart of a Zach Lindsay. Zach's been dedicated to his craft for a long time now, working as a coach and training at DCO.
Please welcome Jason Jackson Mullen.
But Jason Mullen out of Factory X, you know that he has been tested all the way, no matter whether it was in the gym or in the cage.
And Jason's biggest obstacle always is himself. You know, he's a guy who sometimes gets a little bit into his own head, but if he just goes out there and just goes, doesn't think too much, the kid is so talented.
People think,
Hey, it's a thinker's game sometimes, right?
ooh, that's why I lose. I just see red.
Just see red and go, huh?
That's right.
Spoken like the true martial artist that you are.
My favorite thing in the whole world. All right, Lindsay's got Mullen against the cage, using a lot of pressure on him there, trying to hook that ankle. The corner post was fighting Lindsay, couldn't get his arm around, readjusted. Would not be surprised to see a wizard toss from Mullen if he can hip block, but Lindsay's got such a strong base.
Yeah.
College running back. I mean, you know that his center of gravity is going to be low. He's going to be in control of that. So Mullen's going to want to be careful with that. But again, Mullen's been in and out of every possible scenario that could be thrown at him.
Steve Paprocki and Marcus Lindsay. In the corner of Zach Lindsay, you have Professor Scotty Miller as well as Hunter Harrison. Over in the corner of Jason Mullen. Hunter Harrison just picked up a Dynasty Combat title a couple of weeks ago.
I want to see someone commit to a takedown at this point. Very careful both there. Look, well,
Jason went for the M&R. He got stuffed in the process. Ends up in guard.
oh, watch that arm bar.
Jason looking for the armbar now.
That's the tap.
Armbar finished by Jason Cassius Mullen.
Jason Mullen, super excited. Zach Lindsay. Whoa, some words going off in the corner over here. Zach Lindsay, always with a smile. True competitor, great kid. Jason Mullen jawing with Zach's brother over in the corner. Good sportsmanship by both with each other.
Jason, how you feeling? Pretty good, man. You know, I haven't worn a martial arts contact for 3 years. I know it's like a low-level thing, but it's everything because I don't know if I can win before, you know. But I can't. My whole life's been fighting. I started to learn it last year. Coach Mark pulled me out of the fucking trenches, and I wouldn't be there. Fuck that sad shit, though. Hey, more freedom.
Jason Mullen, a little emotional in his return to victory here at the CJJC cage. Just making sure everybody gets out of there smooth.
To me, it is last call for alcohol. Last call to one more drink if you can. And we've got Pilar up here to do the raffle. Pilar's going to pick out
Did you get your tickets?
Get your tickets ready.
Right here. And shout out to Sweet Pea getting around the crowd all day today, working those 50-50s.
Always nice when it benefits a local wrestling or jiu-jitsu system. Two 70014.
Sounds like we got a winner out there.
There we go. Sounds like drinks on him.
Oh, yeah. Well, he better hurry because they just called for last call.
Best spot to win, huh? I thought a 50-50 raffle is like getting a hole in one.
Where you got to take care of everybody in the process.
Right.
Two more matches for you. You guys have two more here?
I've got 2 more in me.
Try to go faster.
They're pretty. I do want to give a little bit of a shout. There obviously a lot of emotion and everything on the outburst there for Jason Mullen afterwards, but you know, as he mentioned in his post-fight interview right there, he went through a pretty dark time, a lot of adversity in his personal life, had some family stuff going on as well as some things on the personal end, and this was the first step back in competition of climbing back out of some of that dark space and the hole, if you will. And he said it right there very beautifully in the cage that, you know what, I didn't know if I still had it in me to go win, to go figure out how to find a victory. And I think that's some of the beauty of martial arts, though, is it's something that when you go in there, you learn so much about yourself in that process.
Or you could remember who you were so easily.
Correct.
Just that little bit of spark that can get you there.
Please welcome to the king. Blue corner, please welcome.
In the cage right now, we have Alejandro the Hurricane Rodriguez out of Black Sheep Universe down in Colorado Springs. He used to train up here. Used to train with him a lot back in the day before he went down and started his own academy. I know he goes and cross-trains with his guys at a lot of spots now, but you know he's a guy who has a lot of MMA fights out there as well. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got wins over guys like Kai Wu, who is, if you all remember that name, that is the MMA fighter that was basically who Mark Zuckerberg took under his wing and taught him the ropes as far as his initial martial arts journey goes. Alejandro has a victory over him. You know, like I say, it's a kid who has a lot of experience out there and has taken the coaching role for his team down there at Black Sheep. But he's got a tough matchup today in Tyler T-Money Hampton. It's again one of those dimensions battles here. You've got the fire hydrant against the light pole.
Yeah. Man, these matchups, I mean, it's gone both ways today, but it's always interesting to see.
And they essentially switched roles. Alejandro was in the corner for Ben Gerson earlier today. Now Ben Gerson in the corner for Alejandro.
Here's a blue corner representing Sumo Combat Club. Please welcome Tyler T-Money Hampton.
There we go. Are you a serial killer?
Something like that.
How are you the only person I've ever met that doesn't use dark mode?
Never switch to it.
Oh my.
Default.
All right.
Stock settings.
Tyler T Money with the collar tie looking for that choke. Oh.
Alejandro
Slop,
at
slop
the
the
Russian
top and
wrist tie though right
Alejandro.
away.
Yeah.
Couple of slick transitions from multiple spots now from both of these guys.
Everybody's moving. Alejandro finally slows it down in side control.
Alejandro potentially has that hand trapped and could work for that Von Flue choke from this position, but
You'd like to see him pick him up and drag him over to that corner of the cage.
you could tell that he's using that shoulder pressure because Tyler Hampton keeps on grabbing that delt and
Pulling
trying
it
to
off.
pull it off.
Yep. Hampton taking a couple deep breaths, resetting himself.
That hand being trapped, though, is a problem for Hampton.
That's trouble.
And
Alejandro is
especially
going to start basing up as soon as he gets over just a little bit farther. And if he can start basing up with that arm trapped, oh, he's let it go.
Hampton is able to get himself free enough. Now moving into the north-south position here. Alejandro foraging for a potential Dars to Anaconda series.
Great top pressure. It's not often you see someone able to just stick one of these tall, lanky upper belts on their back. They're so mobile and they switch their hips so fast. It's great to see Alejandro being able to maintain that top pressure and maintain that position. I think he just got his arm taken away, though. No, he's all right.
He's looking for that north-south choke, though.
Yeah. Is he going to bury it underneath?
He's just being patient with it.
Yep. Little piece at a time.
Hips are elevated now from Tyler Hampton.
Just the calmness from both fighters. Got that.
Alejandro going for the guillotine.
See if he slips that leg over the top. Right now, the nape of the neck of Hampton is still wide open, so he's in danger, but if Rodriguez can slip out to a hip, that far side hip, man, he'll really have a great angle on that choke.
Correct. Now going mount, though. If he hips in, this is trouble.
Now. That's trouble. Oh, no, we got only one arm
One
in.
arm. But that one arm, depending on where that fist is located, if it's across the jaw right on the other side, then that's a problem. It must be enough to where he doesn't have it to go for it and jump it completely.
And he said that's enough of that. Working his way back up. No key lock defense from Hampton. And there's a toe hold. He's got that foot. He's got that foot pretty clean.
Now looking to go knee bar in the process.
That is one advantage of being a shorter competitor. It's so much harder to hit a knee bar when you're long. Yeah, because it's so much easier to clear the knee, and there's so much body that they have to work with to get you stretched out.
Very astute observation there.
Bring us back to that top side. Just working back and forth.
Trying to pump a little bit for the head and arm there. Wise to it is Hampton.
And as we get into these higher belt matches, you're going to see that station-to-station jiu-jitsu where, you know, they really work to a position. Unlike in those early matches we saw where it was just go for broke and hope something appears. You know, these guys are 4 or 5 moves deep into something before they even start to think about where they're going.
It's almost like we forecasted the chess and checkers, right?
Almost. I do need to take a moment and wish my beautiful wife, Kristen, a happy birthday. It's her birthday today, and she let me still do commentary.
Well, thank you very much for allowing the opportunity to have the big dog here.
She just texted me and said, we're going to Hibachi.
That sounds like you're about to have a tremendous night.
I'm winning all the way around.
Now, I'm guessing she doesn't let you off the hook for UFC 323, though.
Well, that'll be at the house.
We're winning.
But that will be at the house. She watches.
Well, that's an even better
And
thing.
of course, my co-host from my podcast After the Final Bell, Mike Gonzalez, is in the corner of Tatsuro tonight. So
Okay.
pretty excited about this one.
Adds a little bit of a personal element to the card.
Yep.
A few Denver-based fighters going to be on that card tonight. You have Macy Barber, you have Satudo Taira, and Muhammad Naimov.
It's a great card.
Yeah, I had the chance to be a part of an awesome panel with PunchDrunkGamer.com talking about our picks for UFC 323 main and co-main event. We had guys like Yusuf Zaral, Paul Daly, Drew Dober, Jamie Varner.
You guys let Yusuf pick?
Hey, Yusuf is a hot product right now.
He is a commodity, man. That kid is on it.
That was hilarious yesterday, the Dave and Buster's commercial that they released with him and Gilbert Burns going at it with all the games. Tyler Hampton tried to get crafty and find a guillotine opportunity.
He's going to jump
from
heat.
the stand.
Hampton's got Alejandro stuffed up against the cage. And hand fighting back and forth. Hampton's got his head in the chest of Alejandro. Urgency not on the agenda with either competitor right now, just looking for an opening, waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'd like to see Alejandro start to work his back off of the fence, though.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. Well, there you
And
go.
as soon as we set it, finds the body lock, secures the mat return.
If you ask, you shall receive.
You know, maybe it was just being patient enough to find the opportunity, right?
That's it.
You had Tyler getting a little bit antsy, I guess, by elevating himself, and then Alejandro being the shorter guy in the process. It was easy for him to get to the body lock.
And as soon as he felt, the pressure release and Hampton didn't want to start to stand up, he said, "Oh, I'll help you. I'll help you with that." Back into a similar spot we spent in the first round. Alejandro just maintaining that top pressure. Hampton very intelligently keeping him stretched out.
And folks, we're gonna have a special treat for you here in just a moment too for our main event. We'll have Dustin the Hanyak Jacoby hop on the mic
Look at
for just
that.
a second there. He's a longtime training partner and a fixture with the camp of Cody Brundage. They're both fighting together on that UFC 325 card down in Australia next month.
It's going to be a great card.
Dustin's taking on Jimmy the Brute Crew.
Dustin's probably one of the nicest guys you could ever meet in the UFC realm.
Alejandro looking for the head and arm right now.
He's got it. If he can clear that leg and start running that clock, he's in a good spot.
It's a tough spot. You can see the grimace on the face of Tyler Hampton. He could still finish from right here, especially keeping that outside knee into the hip pocket of Tyler Hampton, just using the leverage. Tyler might be out. And he's asleep.
It happens just that quick. Just that quick. You can take a nap. Alejandro Rodriguez with the arm triangle choke. Tyler Hampton's coming to and realizing how that just unraveled. Tough spot to be in. Great kid. Tyler Hampton's coach giving him the time he needs to recover and come back together. Alejandro trying to show some sportsmanship and help him up, but Hampton's just going to take a minute to gather himself. Hampton makes it back to his feet.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alejandro.
Great match from both competitors. Alejandro hit that triangle choke, or that arm triangle really slick.
I'm feeling like it's been a long time since I talked to you. Long. That's awesome to see right now. You taking a step away from active competition yourself all the time as a coach now at Black Sheep, but
I look at Rampage back
How do you?
at competitions like yourself as well. Just talk to us about how that's been for you from a training perspective. And no disrespect to my opponent at all, but actually, my disc slipped out by my disc implant, right? It slipped out a week ago. I haven't been able to train today. We have first thing that I actually felt good. So let's be able to put on. Shout out to the James Lunch. On the way out here.
How are you? Is this hot?
Alrighty, folks, that wraps up our co-main event, which brings us to the main event of the afternoon here today. But folks, we have a special treat for you here on this main event call. We have the Hanyak, Dustin Jacoby. Dustin, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing great, man. I did not expect to be on the mic today. I just came here to watch a couple jiu-jitsu matches, but here I am. I'm doing great. I'm feeling really good.
Well, when you're the Hanyak and you're one of the most decorated and respected guys out there in the community, we got to show you a little bit of love, right?
I sure do appreciate it, man. I do feel the love. As soon as I walked in, people were saying what's up and coming right up to me and shaking my hand and, telling me they're a fan. So that's super cool, man. It makes you feel appreciated and gives you a purpose to fight.
Oh, certainly. And I mean, we were talking about it when we were previewing you coming on the call here earlier, that it's just, it's a kudos to who you are, of being just one of the most friendly and respectable guys out there in the community. I remember one of my first days in the gym when you were coming back into the fold back in like late 2017, 2018, somewhere around in that mix, and just, I'm like starstruck for a second. This is a guy who's fought for a Glory World title, was in the UFC way back when, and then is now back making a run at the UFC. But at that moment, it was just, I was a young pup in the game. What's up, man? I'm Dustin. I really like what you're doing. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, and nothing's changed. I'm still the same old Dustin you knew back then. One thing I've always been told, and I really grasp onto, is the same people you pass on the way up are going to be the people you pass on the way down. So I'm always, I want to respect everybody and, just be a professional in everything I do.
Love to hear that there. Also got to throw this little shout out. Just, best golfer in the UFC.
Best golfer in the UFC, bar none, baby.
Now we've got
Cody Brundage, gets me fired up. I have to stand up real quick.
Oh, yeah, love it. I mean, what does it mean to you to see your everyday training partner, a guy who you guys both exchange corner work for each other, but it's going to be a little bit interesting when you guys go down to Australia next month, both fighting on the same card.
Yeah, it hasn't been announced yet, but that is pretty much official. But yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be super exciting. I've been in this game a long time. There's a lot, not too much that I haven't seen, and I've definitely fought on the same card with teammates before, so. There we go. No, man, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. We get to see a little preview of Cody tonight. He's about 8 weeks out from a big fight.
That is my fault if I let the cat out of the bag on that one.
No, it's all good. It's coming
that?
out sooner or later, man. You didn't name an opponent, so look at him. Just beasting him. Now imagine, jiu-jitsu is so interesting to me. I love it. I love punching too.
Oh.
Like, man, I want to damage here.
Absolutely. And, especially Cody, who has multiple submission bonuses in the UFC. He's also got a slam bonus out of a submission against Zach Reese. Logan is certainly, we see what he's looking for. He's trying to find those leg opportunities from the bottom side. I know that he had Cody a little bit fired up by his promo video talking about, I'm going to question, does Cody have UFC level grappling? And I know that kind of was a little bit of a thorn in Cody's side hearing that.
Yeah, I bet, man. But, my response to that always, and he is doing a jiu-jitsu match, so he has to live with that right now. But to me, if I'm doing jiu-jitsu with a black belt, he probably tears me up. Not saying that's a guarantee. I'm still going to be a great fight, but in an MMA fight, it's completely different, you know. So, and I can only relate to MMA. Honestly, I can't. You know, I've never done a jiu-jitsu tournament. It's not my favorite thing. Of course, you know, man, we train it every day. I love the sport. I just don't love to compete in it.
Fair enough. Do you ever see, you know, down the way, years from now, maybe jumping into that world?
I wouldn't be scared of it. It'd be cool to test myself and just get out there and get that fire back a little bit without worrying about getting hurt.
Because I think, you know, when people think of you, they think of the world-class kickboxing, but your grappling is heavily underrated.
I think so too, man. I mean, you see it in my fights. A lot of people say, "Oh, you just got to take him down and, you know, grapple him." But who's been able to do that? You got Ion Kutlaba that did that. I took that fight on short notice, and he just wrestled me in that first round, and I was able to get up every single time. I think he had 8 takedowns. I had 9 get-ups, and then completely took the fight over. It wore him out. You know, it's harder for that grappler wrestler to try to hold me down and contain me. It's just more work for them.
Certainly. Yeah,
This is a
Professor
great match,
Avery in
man.
the corner of Logan. You have a couple of black belts over in the corner of Cody Brundage. You have Professor Randy Caruso. You have Professor Scotty Miller, as well as Coach Alex Friedman. Alex Friedman is a veteran of the CJJC cage as well.
Yeah, he's been a great addition to Factory X, man. I love Alex from Landau Performance to our wrestling practices now. I really get some good work with Alex. So you got a very active guard on from Cody's opponent here.
And that's the, you know, I was wondering how this matchup would play out simply because Logan has a lot of similarities to his game or to his approach going from the lower half as Don Rosenau did when Cody went up against him a couple of cards back for CJJC. And sometimes when you have a guy who they're going to want to try to invert or go for the legs, and you have someone who is a collegiate wrestler to the level that Cody is with big, strong hips, if you can't elevate and get under the legs, then it's going to be a tough day. But also at the same time, it's on Cody to try to find his offensive opportunities, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, he's controlling on top. You just don't see much offensive. But at the same time, I'm not exactly sure how you score these. Who would be winning? The guy on the bottom is pretty active, but Cody has seemed to be in control the entire fight.
It just kind of comes down to referees' interpretation of what is the effectiveness of maybe some of that action from the bottom or some of those attacks.
One thing that would make me nervous for Cody is just getting in a leg lock or something that could potentially harm him for his upcoming fight. But I guess it's a risk you take. And there's really no shame in tapping quick if it comes to that, I would think. I wouldn't have a huge ego. I'd be tapping real quick before I snap something.
Oh, certainly, especially when we're talking about, you know, the potential ramifications, not just physically, but financially in the process.
Yeah, totally. When you're a professional fighter, this is how you make your living, man. You got to be careful doing these matches, but it's great competition. Always great to compete.
One thing about Cody is, man, he is so strong.
He really is, man. I train with him every day, and he is just a brute. You know, when he gets his hands wrapped around you, it's a different type of strength, and it'll be good for. It's really good for me. Like right there, I love that. I love him pushing him away there. Now, where's that guillotine? 30 seconds now. Is there rounds here? Like,
there is 2 rounds of regulation followed by overtime.
and honestly, if I did this, I would have to remember not to punch or do anything, any kind of striking, because there was a moment there I saw Cody have the back of his head with nice collar tie, and I would have thrown a little uppercut. Got to remember that's not legal here.
Yep, absolutely. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when we've had Josh Fremd here in the cage, or when we had Mr. Alaska Ben Bennett, who is also an MMA fighter, a Contender Series vet, he just from a couple of spots, he's a showman. He was in control of a lot of those sequences, but was showing, hey, when you had him in turtle, okay, well, I could be punching from here sort of situation. But yeah, you make a great point that you have to remember what the rule set is so you don't let one slip. Now, if you're Professor Avery over here in the corner of Logan Weintraub, what are you offering after that first round of action against Cody?
You know, it's kind of difficult. Cody's not really engaging too much, so it's making him work a lot. I would say maybe be a little more loose and not try to work as much. Let Cody try to advance and maybe get him from something there. But again, man, Cody's smart. He knows what he's doing. He's very strong on top. Great hips, good flexibility. Yeah, and if I'm Cody's corner, I'm telling him let's attack a little bit more. I think, especially right off the rip here, if you can get a dominant position on top or he's got a patented guillotine. I'd like to see that, man. That's pretty strong.
Certainly.
Get it already.
That is just something, like you said, we need to see some activity from Cody offensively just to try to solidify, if this does go all the way for the distance, for your reference sake, DJ, the way that it gets scored is if it goes to a decision, then it's only regulation that is scored.
Is it 3 5-minute rounds?
2 5-minute rounds with 2 1-minute overtime periods.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, a little push-pull concept from the bottom. We train that daily. I like it. Cody knows what's coming there. He's just got to be careful with his head down, though.
Resting posture from Cody right now. Cody starts to work from the front headlock. That's a bad position.
Inverted triangle.
Inverted triangle.
Triangle. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, no, he's got it out.
Defense from Logan in the process.
That was a pretty good defense.
But this could potentially
Oh,
work
there
up
it
and
is.
funnel
There
for.
it is. There it is. Get on top. Get on top. Here I am cornering now. He's got to get to his knees. Yes! I think it's going to be over here.
He's got the Kimura trap on that arm, though, now, which is going to be trouble if Cody gets to rotate the hips over.
It's in a vulnerable spot here. I think Cody needs to get back to his knees. But again, he's got up against the cage. Here comes an armbar attempt. Uh-oh, here you go. This should be, oh, no, he's going to slide out. Oh, man.
But that's a strong submission attempt there that's going to score in favor of Cody.
Okay, yeah, that was a great scramble by both guys and very dominant by Cody there.
But I feel like, just being fair, Cody needed to have that attempt based off of the activity that Logan's been showing from the bottom too, just to show more than just being reactive from that top spot.
Well, you would know, man, and I agree with you if I'm, judging this fight.
It's so tough to tell how the judge is going to interpret this in a grappling matchup where you have somebody who's trying to work from the bottom, where sometimes it's not always as intuitive as when you think, in the MMA world, the guy on top is most of the time winning.
Yeah, correct. And I think Cody got some really good advice there, too, from Scotty Miller in his corner, man. I am a huge fan of Scotty Miller. That guy is nasty, the nasty jiu-jitsu coach. It translates so well into MMA. And anybody listening, I want to give a big shout-out to him. I love that guy. I appreciate what he does for Factory X, and he's just nasty, man. I love his practices.
Yeah, his catch wrestling that he blends into the jiu-jitsu in the process I feel like it just translates so well, especially in this format in the cage and into MMA application.
It does. Come on, Cody, drag that head down. Okay, get nasty with the head pressure. You just know there can't be any strikes, and it's so odd sitting here ringside and not watching Cody fight, watch him through jiu-jitsu. It's just different.
Yeah, and especially when he goes for broke and throws bombs.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, make him get up and work the guillotine. I think the head snatch to a guillotine. Head snatch. Head snatch, guillotine, jumping triangle here. Let's see. Let's put something on for the crowd, right?
Agreed. Cody with the double collar tie.
So, again, 2 5-minute rounds and then 2 1-minute sudden death rounds.
Correct.
Before going to a decision.
Yes, that's correct. Overtime, both guys will start from the back.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep, both guys start from the back in that 1-minute period. If there is...
So one guy starts on the back for 1 minute, then the next guy starts on the back. What if there's a submission?
You got to see if you can do it faster.
Oh, interesting.
You get a rebuttal period.
Interesting.
DJ, I know I fancy you as a one-time beer pong player. You know about those rebuttals.
Yeah, you're right, man. I think everybody deserves one.
About 30 seconds left in this second round of regulation.
Got to go for broke. Got to go for BROKE. Come on, baby. Oh, there we go. That's what I mean. See, you jumped that earlier, and now you have more time to work with, obviously. See, Scotty gives the best advice, man. He really does.
And that wraps it up for regulation right there. We move on to our overtime periods. We'll have the coin flip from referee Paul Benderson, and we'll see who takes the back first.
Oh, we go right into it, huh?
Short rest goes right into overtime.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
We're trying to clear the hips right away in the process.
Yeah, that was good.
But Cody could potentially transition and weave this over into a head and arm triangle.
Yes, sir. And there you go. There you go. Oh, if he doesn't tap here, that's incredible. I mean, yep, there's a tap.
There's a submission there by Cody. Now it is on Logan to see if he can beat that time
What
for
was
a
that, 30
submission.
seconds? I wish I had the timer on that.
Probably roughly about 25 seconds.
You know, and Cody used a lot of effort there. I mean, if they're going again, woo.
Cody's just got to escape and essentially avoid getting submitted.
Yeah, totally.
Now, Logan's working on an armbar right now.
Oh, it's
Cody's
over.
out.
It's over.
Cody just needs to disengage.
Gio. It's over now. It's over now. Oh, nice takedown, Cody. Way to be aggressive. Way to be aggressive. Way to be aggressive.
And Cody Brundage wraps up the victory here in overtime. I want to say thank you to Dustin the Hanyak Jacoby for hopping on the call with me here. Be in with that interview in just a second.
Sure appreciate you guys, man. We'll see you soon in the octagon, somewhere
Yes, sir.
far away from you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, overtime, out of the blue corner,
Great win from the UFC vet Cody Brundage. See what Jordan has in store for
All right,
him.
ladies and gentlemen, your winner in the main event, we have Cody Brundage. Cody, how you feeling? All praise to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's good, man. I love these competitions. Shooting my fights. I just got booked. Australian taking the first from my boy. That's Cody. Tune in on Paramount. It'll be fireworks for the Americans, baby. Cody, is there anybody else that you want to give a shout out to here in the process? Always my wife. She's the best. Love you, man. Good to be here. Maybe it's her cancer, so she better watch the kids, but I know she's watching. Then my team at Back to the Hooks. We're getting after it every day. Best team in the world, baby. Thanks so much, Cody. Thanks so much for Cody Brundage, folks.
All right, guys. That
wraps it up for us today at CJJC 28 Grapple Party, folks. Want to thank you all so much for coming out. Appreciate you being safe.
All right, Jordan says that's going to be a wrap. Thank you for joining us today